This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on? What's going on, freaks? Kind of low in the camera there. Oh well. Yeah, so tonight we're going to do, kind of has that Dyatlov Pass feeling, but the Yuba County 5 from 1978 in, I think it was late February 1978. They went missing in Yuba County, California. Wow, it almost looked like Chloe could see that fly. And Kubi up there thinks that I've covered this before, but I don't remember ever covering this, and it's not in any of my files anywhere. It's not in Google Earth. It's not, it's nowhere. And I don't see any freaks, any other freaks saying, "Oh yeah," because a lot of them have been around the whole time too. So yeah, thanks to Teresa Murray and Kubi for the super chats before the show started. All right, so I'm just gonna get going on it. I went back to all the. Yeah, that's probably what it was. I just went back to all of the old newspaper articles from like a long time ago. Hey, wow, thank you. Tosh. Gonna get the dancer. The avocado. Let me turn down our music. There we go. I think it's on, right? Yeah, should be. Come on, avocado. There we go. Right on top of Chloe's head.
Through this case with Gray and the freaks. I've never looked into it before.
Yep. So here we go. Gonna do it. But again, it's a lot of reading and there's stuff on the map and everything, so I wasn't able to. There was one point where I zoomed in and I found this little thing that looked like a trailer, and then I said, okay, I know where that was, and then I never could find it again. It was just crazy. So I don't know where exactly it was that I saw, but it was in this area here. But I have it flattened too. Like you can turn terrain on, and then it looks like now you can see the mountain range, kind of what it looked like in the general area. But anyways, we're just gonna go and start back at the beginning. Thanks, Cali Gal 3. By the way, did you hear from anybody after we covered that case? Anybody, your daughter's, or your daughter's case? Did anybody come forward and get a hold of you or hear from you? That's what they say, Mark. That's what they say. Okay. I'm going to start back in 1978, February 28th. And this is kind of around the time it started to be reported in the newspaper. Huh? Yeah, there's a couple people that they want everybody, they're trying to get publicity for their books and whatnot, so they're coming in here and commenting over and over and over again. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about that, but we're just covering the case here. Okay, so, I don't know, let's see. I think that's about, maybe that'll work for you guys. Maybe I have to slide it over. Maybe like that-ish. Okay, so here we go. Families of 5 Yuba Sutter area men who have been missing since Friday said today that they have no clues about what may have happened. The 5 close friends and avid basketball fans were last seen about 6 p.m. Friday when they left Yuba City to attend a basketball game at Chico State University. But they never returned home and no one has heard from them since. They've just disappeared from the face of the earth, said Melba Gale Madruga, whose son, Jack 30, was driving the 5 in his car to Chico. So the driver is one of the individuals, Jack Madruga. Okay. Law enforcement agencies throughout Northern California have been asked to help in finding the 5 men. Yuba County Sheriff Sergeant James Black said today there are no new developments. No one has reported any contact with the 5, Black said. Madruga's 1969 Mercury Montego was a 2-door sedan, white over blue, license plate XQG 831. I'm really concerned that maybe something has happened, said Sharon Whiteley, sister of Gary Matthias, 25, of 4758 Western Avenue. We are checking on everything we can, Black said. Let's see. Let me get down over here. Hey, thanks, Natalie Bell. We are checking on everything we can, said Black. Relatives and friends of the missing men are urged to contact the sheriff's office to give any information that could help in locating the men. Black, I don't know what it's saying. Black, and then men black, and then all of a sudden up here it says a revised draft. I don't know what that is. So this must have continued somewhere or somewhere, but what I found didn't have the rest of it. I'm not even sure how that works in this article. Maybe it continued down the page. But, oh, hold on one second. I gotta get, my wife was gonna call. All right. I'm trying to figure out why this is cut off, but I guess we'll just go to the next page here. Maybe this is where it came. This is where it was. There we go. So the first page ended with, in helping locating the men, Black, Rockland, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, we'll just continue on. All 5 men are slightly mentally challenged. They're using the word retarded. It's like, we don't really use that anymore for some reason. But I don't even, that's hard to believe, right? I mean, Were they all just people that weren't high achievers in school, so they were labeled that? I mean, I don't know. I think that it just kind of doesn't make sense to me. They have been friends for several years, becoming acquainted while working with gateway projects in Yuba City. Madruga lives with his mother, Melba Gale Madruga, at 49 Montana Drive, Mulberry Mobile Estates in Linda. She was the first to call the sheriff's office on Saturday. Madruga was born and raised in Yuba County and was a graduate of Marysville High School. Well, he's a graduate of a high school, but you're saying he's... Huh? What's going on in here, you guys? Like, who are these people typing in casinos and... She said her son had nothing to her before... She said her son said nothing to her before he left that would indicate they were going anywhere besides Chico. They were also very excited about playing in a basketball tournament in Rockland, Mrs. Madruga said. One of the missing men, Ted Weiher, I don't know, W-E-I-H-E-R, probably just Weiher, 32 of 4639 Western Avenue, Olivehurst, didn't live far from his friend Gary Matthias. I wonder if we should put these addresses in there. So let's see. 4639 Western Avenue. Yeah, there it is. Alright, here we go. This is where Weiher lived. And what was the other one up here? Service station, you said her husband operated at Miss Sterling. There it is. Madruga lives with his mother, Melba Gale Madruga, at 49 Montana Drive. Montana Drive in Mulberry. I think it's the same as there's a 49 Montana Drive in the same town that Olivehurst, California. But I bet you that's really the place. Oh, I guess Mulberry Mobile Estates. Okay, yeah, there we go. So they lived in this mobile home. God, it's still the same thing. That's crazy. This is where Madruga lived. And then I think on that other page it had an address too, right? Up here somewhere. Madruga's 1969 Mercury. Yeah, here he goes. Matthias lived at 4758 Western Avenue. That's probably in the same place, I would imagine. Yeah, it is in this area. So he lived right here, very close to Weiher. Okay. I just want to get some of the basic stuff in there. One of the missing men, Ted Weiher, 32 of 4639 Western Avenue, Overhurst, didn't live far from his friend Gary Matthias. Weiher attended Profi and Maryville high schools and is employed by Gateway Projects. They were all good friends. Weiher and the fifth missing man, William Sterling, 29, and here we go, another one, 90 Toledo Street in Yuba City. There we go. And this is William Sterling, he's 29. I don't really have, there's one that's missing in terms of the place they live currently on here. Matthias also attended Marysville High School and is an Army veteran. Gary has done this a couple of times before, his sister said, and we'd find out that he was at his grandmother's in Oregon. His family checked there. Sarah Huett said he is just grasping for straws, trying to find out what happened to her son, Jack, 24, and his 4 friends. Now, there we go. Now we got all of them. Huett lived at 264 Earl Road, and does that make sense? Yeah, it's probably over here in Marysville, though. I imagine. Not 100% sure, but how many Earl Roads are there right there? Okay, so I think we got all the different addresses of where people lived. I don't know, it's probably not that significant. Let's see. So Huett lives with his parents at 264 Earl Road in Linda. He works at Gateway Projects doing odds and ends, according to his mother. They put these periods all the time instead of commas. It's weird. According to his mother, he has known the others about 3 or 4 years, she said. William and Juanita Sterling were the last persons to see the 5 men before they left for the Chico basketball game Thursday night. Ms. Sterling said they stopped at the Mico service station she and her husband operate at 619 Calusa Avenue. So I guess we can go to that one. 619 Calusa Avenue in... was it in... Ms. Sterling said they operate her service station. She said her and her husband operate at 619 Calusa Avenue. But where, though? I mean, where is that located? Persons to see 5 men. So these William and Juanita Sterling were the last persons to see the 5 men before they left for Chico basketball game. Okay, so that would have been in that town. Probably Yuba City. They're right there. There you go. So here's the gas station. 5 seen buying gas. They stopped at the station so she could give their son, William, 29 years old, his allowance of $15. She said none of the 5 said anything about plans to travel anywhere besides Chico or Rockland. Mrs. Sterling said her son has frequently gone home with friends and forgotten to call, giving them reason to worry, but they wouldn't start calling his closest friend. They would start calling his closest friends and find him with one of them. This hasn't happened for some time, Mrs. Sterling said. She went to Chico yesterday to show pictures of the men to ticket takers and security officers who were at the basketball game on Friday, but none of them recognized them, she said. The group frequently took trips to Sacramento together and occasionally to Davis and Chico. They were avid fans of UC Davis basketball team to the point of recording game scores on basketball schedules after each game. They had gone to Sacramento on Thursday to practice basketball for the game they would play on Saturday. Matthias did not go with the group then, she said. They returned home about 10:30 p.m. that night, and she had tried to talk them into skipping the Chico game because they would be tired. Her son, however, insisted on going because it was the last time the Davis team would play in the area this year. She said they were first discovered missing when they failed to meet with others in front of the Marysville store on Saturday to travel to Rockland. The 5 men are also bowling fans and bowl regularly on Saturdays in Yuba City and often bowl during their frequent trips to Sacramento, Mrs. Sterling said. Sterling is a graduate of Auburn High School, They have many friends in the Sacramento area, she said. Jack Madruga is 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighs about 190 pounds. He has brown hair and hazel eyes. He was wearing a white nylon jacket and plaid slacks. William Sterling is 5'10", 160 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. He was wearing dark jacket and dark trousers. Ted Wheeler is 6 feet tall and about 200 pounds. He has brown curly hair and brown eyes. He was wearing long sleeve black and maroon velour shirt, light blue corduroy pants, and a silver ring with Ted engraved on it. He's also Theodore Weiher, maybe. I don't know if it's Weiher or Weir, something like that. Jack Huett is 5'9", 165 pounds. He has brown hair and green eyes. He was wearing a light blue Levi jacket, a blue pin, striped shirt, and dark blue pants. Gary Matthias is 5'10", 170 pounds. He has brown hair and hazel eyes. A clothing description was unavailable. Hey, thanks, Treva McCoy. Hey, that's a number I don't see too often. 15. All right. All right, so there we go. We're kind of just getting into the basic stuff at the beginning where they are missing, and then there's this witness here that was pretty interesting. They spell his name incorrectly in other places that I've seen. A man who suffered a heart attack while on a remote road where 5 Marysville area men disappeared said Thursday he saw their car and may have seen a group of people the night the men vanished. Joseph Sconces or Scones or Shans, or maybe it's Schons. So maybe Sconces or something, right? I mean, I haven't heard anybody pronounce it, so I don't know. So Joseph Sconces, 55, told Yuba and Butte Sheriff investigators, thank you, Tina Souser. Investigators, as many as a dozen people, as well as another vehicle, may have been in the area where he was stricken while attempting to push his car out of the snow. So he had heart problems when he was trying to push his own car out of the snow. Meantime, 50 Butte County Sheriff searchers Thursday, aided by dogs and snow vehicles, combed the area where the car belonging to Yuba County Wave, everybody, there you go. Aided by dogs and snow vehicles, combed the area where the car belonging to one of the men was found Tuesday. The 5 men, all mildly retarded, it says. I mean, how do you know? I mean, it's kind of dumb. Were reported missing Saturday when they failed to return from a basketball game in Chico. Searchers worked until dark and plan to continue their hunt today. Authorities in Yuba County, where the men were reported missing, also said they would broaden a search effort based on the possibility the men may not be in the remote Plumas National Forest area where the car was found. Missing are the driver of the car, Jack Madruga, 30, William Sterling, 29, they're both of Yuba City, Ted Weir, 32, and Gary Matthias of Olivehurst, and Jack Huett, 24, of Marysville. Yeah, he was... Where was that? Huett. Just want to make sure I got that right. Okay, yeah, that's the right place. Sconces, who lives in Berry Creek, a small community near the search area, told officers he suffered a heart attack at about 6 p.m. Friday. He said he lay in his car possibly for as long as 6 hours. Doesn't that just sound kind of weird, you know? When he heard a whistling noise. Leaving his car to investigate, so he was laying in his car for 6 hours because he had heart problems, and then he hears a whistling noise, so he gets out of the car. Leaving his car to investigate, he said he rounded a curve on Old Quincy Road. Let's see where that is. That's still up here. Okay, that's up in here, this area. Okay, so there's an old road that went to, there's a town called Quincy, I guess, right here. So it's somewhere up in the same area. When he shouted for help, the group, so leaving his car to investigate, he said he rounded a curve. Thanks, Debbie Barnes and LM. Thank you. Leaving his car to investigate, he said he rounded a curve on Old Quincy Road where he saw headlights and a group of people. When he shouted for help, the group fell silent and doused their lights. Sconces said he returned to his car. Maybe it's the Shans. And waited until dawn before setting out on foot to seek help. Or maybe it's Scone. What do you guys think the name is? Scones or Scones or? I don't even know. This guy's crazy. Sconces' wife told officers that her husband believed he saw a woman with a baby or a bundle among a group of many as a dozen people, and that a pickup may have been parked behind the car. Hey, thanks, Alley Cake and Simple Life Days. So a pickup parked behind the car. Sconces was undergoing treatment at the Oroville Medical Center Thursday. Yuba County Undersheriff Jack Beecham said Sconces' statement is aiding them in checking out the possibility the men are not in the mountain area. His recollections were almost like a dream. He was a sick man, Beecham said, but he did recall something that were substantiated. Maybe they picked up somebody. Maybe there was another vehicle involved. He said the missing men were known to enjoy bowling, skating, and dancing, and that one had once lived in a commune. We've got a lot of avenues to check out, Beecham said. Officials also discounted earlier speculation that the disappearance of the men might be linked to in some way to a rash of fire bombings in 1975 directed against Gateway Projects, an organization for mentally handicapped persons in Yuba City where several of the men worked. Hey, thank you, Marie Crossley. And Simple Life Days, thank you. And Alley Cake. Got to put you in the spin. Debbie Barnes, thank you. I don't believe there's any connection at all. Yeah, that sounds like something you'd see on like Facebook or something. Hey, is it related to the? Yeah, just because it's some other random thing. I mean, there's absolutely ridiculousness always. All right, so that was on March 3rd. The 28th of February, March 3rd, the second article, and then this is similar. This one is on March 8th. So let's see if it sounds a little different. I laid there in the snow and cried, said a Berry Creek man whose dramatic heart attack story is now overshadowed by the story of the abandoned car he found. Joseph Sconces, 55, is believed to be the first man to see the car of 5 Marysville men missing since they left a Chico State University campus on February 24th. Sconces was released yesterday from Medical Center Hospital after treatment for the heart attack. He suffered the attack Friday, February 24th at twilight after trying to get his car loose from snow on Oro Quincy Road. So let's see, is that registered? That says Oro Quincy. Oh, there it is. I thought the other one said old. Well, that's Oro Quincy Road. I wonder if that's what this is, maybe. What do you call this thing? It's so weird. This is an actual developed road with a center line even, and it didn't have any street view or like road names on it. There it is. Oh, I almost thought I saw it. There it is. Oro Quincy Highway. Okay, good. So that's the highway that he saw them on. You know, now you just have to wonder how far up was it. He suffered a, let's see, where is that part? Yeah, so he suffered the attack Friday, February 24th at twilight after trying to get his car loose from the snow on Oro Quincy Road. He had driven up the road after having a few beers at Mountain House. I just wanted to see the snow and it carried me farther than I wanted to go, he said. Yeah, I don't know. Sconces said that after the attack, he was unable to get up out of the snow. I thought I was a goner, he said, and I was just praying for it to be speedy. After a while, Sconces was able to boost himself back into the Volkswagen. I just laid there for a while with my feet outside the car. I didn't have the strength to lift them inside. As Sconces slowly built up his strength by resting, he was able to boost himself inside the car and close the door, he said. He turned on the car engine to stay warm. At about 10 p.m., he said he saw lights and rolled down the car window. Soaking wet with perspiration, he yelled, "Help! I'm sick, a sick man!" Now I've just said that. Oh, man. Sconces got no reply. An hour later, he reports hearing a whistling noise. This time, he was able to get out of his car. He climbed up a small slope near the car and spotted the lights of a car further down the road. That's weird how there's like two cars there. And just around a slight bend, he said he saw a group of people and perhaps a woman and child. "Help! I had a heart attack. Please help," he yelled. He said the car's lights then went out, and he got the impression that a pickup truck behind it left. "I thought they had run away from me," he said. "I laid there in the snow and cried. I'm ready for Wait, is this something else? Oh, that's up here. I was like, ready for prison? What are you talking about? Is he going to hell? I laid in the snow and cried. Sconces eventually went back to his car where he rested until 4 a.m. He said he wasn't sure he would be discovered and decided to walk to safety. The retired rehabilitative therapist began a 6-hour journey back down the road to Mountain House. At first, he could walk only 6 to 8 feet without resting, he said. As he passed by the abandoned vehicle, believed to be that of the missing 5 men, he stopped to rest in the front seat. What? I mean, I don't know. If he's that weak, I mean, that's pretty crazy that he stopped and then he gets in their car. And Sconces said he fell several times and stopped to rest from 50 to 75 times before reaching Mountain House. See, it's all, I mean, you could make an argument early on without knowing any other facts. Oh, wow, he was trying to set up an alibi of why his fingerprints or something might be in that vehicle. So there you go. Sconces said he fell several times and stopped to rest from 50 to 75 times before reaching Mountain House at 10 a.m. Is that still there? No, that's... Okay, there's a Mountain House, California, but he's talking about a bar, right? Yeah. Let's see. Okay, now this is March 10th, 2 days after that last one. What do you guys think about that Sconces guy? That's pretty crazy, right? Thank you, Kit Kat. Okay, here we go. 5 mentally challenged men from the Marysville, Yuba City area disappeared in the mountain wilderness northeast of here 2 weeks ago. And sheriff officials of 2 counties said Thursday they now suspect foul play. The men in their late 20s and early 30s were last seen on the night of February 24th at a college basketball game in Chico, about 50 miles north of here, and vanished while returning to their homes. They are described as slightly mentally challenged by their families and unable to care for themselves over a lengthy period of time. Sounds more like just being lazy. The little evidence so far available, I mean, if they have the ability to play, get in basketball games, sign up for teams, drive all the way to Chico and play basketball, they don't need anybody's help, okay? The little evidence so far available to sheriff's officials in Butte and Yuba counties is baffling, suggesting that the men were forced from their car the night they disappeared, yet several days later were reported joyriding in a different vehicle. Wait, the little evidence so far available to sheriff officials Yuba counties is baffling, suggesting that the men were forced from their car the night they disappeared, yet several days later were reported joyriding in a different vehicle? I don't know. In addition, one witness was suffering a serious heart attack at the time he may have seen the men and is confused over some crucial details. 2 other witnesses did not report their alleged sighting of the men until almost a week later. The family of one of the missing men has called in a psychic. Yay! All right. Nothing better than a psychic, you guys. Oh. They're in the car. Stilligan little buddies. Get by. Yeah. This case is bizarre as hell, Jack Beecham, Yuba County Undersheriff, told the Times. But as time goes on, foul play becomes a greater probability. It's hard to lose 5 people, that's for sure. On Thursday, the stepfather of one of the men said he thinks all 5 are dead. But Edward Klopp and other family have offered a $1,000 reward, boosted to $2,600 by other contributions. We definitely feel something has happened, but we also feel they are alive, the mother of a second man said. Yuba County Sheriff Coroner Jim Grant identified the 5 men as Theodore Earl Weber, 32, Gary Dale Matthias, 25, Jack Charles Huett, 24, and Jack Madruga, 30. So it's Theodore Earl, 32, Theodore, Gary, Matthias, Charles, and Jack. The men were last seen at a basketball game in Chico between the UC Davis and Chico State University teams on February 24th. The men, all sports enthusiasts, who played basketball in special leagues for the, Well, it says for the handicap, had driven 50 miles from Marysville for the game. They did not return home and were reported missing by the parents of Madruga on Saturday morning, February 25th. Okay. Let me go to page 28, was that right? There we go. In the 1969 Mercury Sports Coupe had been mired in 10-inch snow on a gravel recreation road northeast of Oroville, in Butte County, rugged Rogers Cow Camp area. Let's see where that is. Is that still there? Rogers Cow. Wow. Cow Camp. Is that? Oh, right there. Okay, so we're pretty close. Rogers Cow Camp. Well, there you go. So we're definitely up in the right general area here. I mean, it actually goes up around. The way they have it on the map, it seems like they're using this road here in most of the maps, not this one out here. That doesn't make sense to me at all. This is where Chico State is, and they live here. So this is totally out of the way up there. It absolutely makes no sense to me. The 1969 Mercury Sports Coupe had been mired in 10-inch snow on a gravel recreation road northeast of Oroville in Butte County, rugged Rogers Cow Camp area. The site was at the 4,500-foot elevation, more than 2.5 hours from Chico by car, and far off the direct auto route. There you go. They're even saying that. Between Chico and Marysville. The ranger had seen the car on February 25th, but had not considered it unusual because many residents drive to the area on weekends to go skiing. He contacted officials after a missing persons bulletin had been issued. According to Richard Steinberg, undersheriff for Butte County, there are no evidence of foul play at the car's location, nor were the car keys found, he said. The car was littered with candy wrappers, basketball programs, milk cartons, and other material indicating a good time, he said. We found no trace of the men during a 5-day search of milk. Let me ask you something. Put a 1 if you think drinking milk with your friends constitutes a good time. I mean, I guess maybe that's how it was in 1978. I don't remember that at all. But Melba Madruga insisted that her son, the car's owner, would not have driven up the isolated road at night and would not have abandoned the car. I'm sure he would have come home directly from the game, she said. There's no way he would have gone voluntarily into the mountains. The relatives of Ted Weiher said that all 5 men planned to play in special... Oh, come on. None of you that put 1 actually believe that. Come on. They planned to play in Special Olympics basketball game for the handicap. Well, maybe they were officially deemed whatever, but, you know, I don't know. They just look like normal people. Maybe not this guy, but, I mean, 4 of the men had practiced for the game in Sacramento 2 days earlier. Ted wouldn't have missed that game for anything, his mother said. He had gone to the Special Olympics playoffs in Los Angeles last year and gotten Sally Struthers' autograph. He even had his basketball clothes all laid out in his room. Adding to the mystery, a Sacramento man apparently saw the Mercury Coupe between 11 p.m. and midnight Friday, February 24th. The man, Joseph Sconces, had become stuck in the snow while driving the mountain road to check his cabin and suffered a heart attack while trying to push his auto back onto the road. Sconces told officials initially that he had seen 2 sets of headlights, one, that of a pickup, come behind him at 11:30 p.m. as he lay in his car in pain trying to keep warm. He said he got out and yelled for help, but that the several persons parked about 20 feet behind him then drove away in one car. So did that leave Madrigal's car? This week, however, Sconces admitted he was not certain about the second vehicle. I was half conscious, not lucid, hallucinating, and in deep pain, he told the Times Thursday. Whether I half saw or half imagined the second vehicle, I just don't know, but he said he was certain about seeing the Mercury. Early Saturday morning, February 25th, Sconces managed to walk 8 miles. I got so many. What are these windows open over here? Okay, he managed to walk 8 miles. That just sounds. 8 miles is, in those conditions, is like running a marathon. Early Saturday morning, February 25th, Sconces managed to walk 8 miles back down the road to a mountain lodge where the manager drove him home. So is there... I wonder if we could find... So this is the road right here. Yeah. I don't know. I found a building here. I don't know what that is. How far is 8 miles out here, though? That's 3. Okay. So... that makes some sense. It could be down here. Maybe that's that Roger Crow Camp thing. Let's see if that makes sense. If you start right here, I don't see the lodge, but why is this doing this? I don't get it. Okay. It's only 1 mile there. I just want to see generally how far up this, from that place there. Yeah, so this sort of feels like you're almost going to be right at 8 going. .37, 7.46. Yeah, so it's like right in there. That kind of makes sense. If that's the because that's the spot that was mentioned, Rogers Cow Camp. But I don't know if that's where the exactly where the building is that he's talking about, but if you follow that up, it puts you right in that general area there. Yeah, because this is the area. It's supposed to be right around this Daniel Zink campground in here, and look where that ends right there. So it's very close. And the whole time I'm doing this, I just keep thinking of, like, it feels similar to like Dyatlov Pass, you know. It just feels like that. A mystery. Alright, early Saturday morning, February 25th, Sconces managed to walk 8 miles back down the road to a mountain lodge where the manager drove him home. Sconces' wife later took him to a local hospital. Sconces said he told his wife he had had seen a pickup behind the car, but does not remember now why he said that. Imogene Weiher said that her son would have responded to a call for help. Ted and Bill Sterling once helped a person get to a hospital who had overdosed on Valium. Regarding a possible pickup truck, a second person said she saw the 5 men in a red 1950 model pickup at about 2 p.m. Saturday, February 25th, in the Brownville area of Yuba County, about 40 miles northeast of Marysville. The woman, who asked not to be identified, said the men were in the front of Mary's country store in Brownsville, a small town more than an hour drive over back country roads from the Rogers Crow camp. Alright, now I gotta go put Brownsville in here. No. Maybe it's not there anymore? I don't know. Store in Brownsville, a small town more than an hour drive over back country roads from the Rogers Crow camp where the Mercury had been abandoned. The woman did not report her information to sheriff's officers until Friday, March 3rd, after the reward poster was printed with pictures of the missing men. Lieutenant Dennis Moore of the Yuba County Sheriff's Office said that he believes she is a credible witness and we take her information seriously. Hold on. I just lost that spot. Oh yeah, there it is. We take her information seriously. A search this week has centered around the Brownsville area. I couldn't even find Brownsville, California. It said, and you notice strangers around here, especially them with their big eyes and facial expressions. The owner of the store, Carol Waltz, also said he saw several of the men on both Saturday, February 25th and Sunday, February 26th. Hey, thanks, Tosh. Appreciate the support there. The owner of the store, Carol Waltz, also said he saw several of the men on both Saturday, February 25th and Sunday, February 26th. I'm pretty sure I saw Weiher and Huett buying burritos, chocolate milk, and soft drinks, he said. I can't be positive, but I remember after the Brownsville woman,
Reading and mapping, Ocean Way.
there you go, asked me whether I had seen the poster. Dallas Weiher said his brother liked to eat anything he could get his hands on, and that Huett was Ted's inseparable companion. So the store thing sounds logical, but everything else about the Brownsville story is completely out of character, he said. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even see it, but if it's up above there, you know, up north, then I could buy that. Brownsville, California. Thanks, Eugenie. See, I have Brownsville is down. That's just Challenge Brownsville. So I don't know if that was it, but that's nowhere near up here. I mean, it's at the base of it. It's in between. So, I mean, I guess if they went here first and then went up there, you know, that would kind of make sense. I mean, I don't know if this is the Brownsville they're talking about, but I'm guessing it might be. Except it doesn't match how they described how they got there. So they were talking about how they had to drive up on that same road up here, and that doesn't really go by there. So don't know. Hey, thanks, Tina Susser. The owner of the store, Carol Waltz, also said he saw several of the men, on both Saturday, February 25th and Sunday, February 26th. I'm pretty sure I saw them. And this is that part where it said that they were, you know, drinking chocolate milk and everything. And then let's go to the next page, I think. Yeah, and it says, but he just would never use a phone. He hated it, Tom Huett said. Ted Weiher also called my house, as well as the owner, every time they went out bowling or to play basketball. Edward Klopp, stepfather of Gary Matthias, said the 5 men had no extra clothes and very little money to be on their own for such a long period of time. Also, Gary must take medications twice a day, 3 pills in the morning and 3 at night for schizophrenia. Well, that's sort of an interesting thing there, because without taking that, you can turn into, something not too pleasant. If he had no medication for 2 weeks, he would be very poor condition, talking to himself and the like. The Yuba County Sheriff deputies have combed without success a 50-mile area around Brownsville. Much of the terrain is accessible only on foot or by 4-wheel drive. Imogene Weiher said she believes that the men are being held prisoner somewhere, perhaps in Forbestown, a small hamlet 6 miles from Brownsville where several communes of young people reportedly live. Forbestown postmaster Betty Ricewig described Forbestown as having as a haven for young people wanting to drop out of society. Yeah, well, that's not what happened. Let me look at this map that I have here. Hold on. There, this one. Maybe this one shows us where Brownsville is. Oh yeah, well that's where I have it, right there. So I thought it was going to be up in this area, but Brownsville's right there. I don't know if you can even see it, but in a second. Yeah, Brownsville and then Oroville. So that's the right one, I think. Although they seem like it's... Let me look at that again. They almost have it where it's down here-ish. No, they have it. No, it's right next to that lake. They just marked Oroville wrong. They have it up here, but it's down there, I think. Man, it's pretty hard to keep. There's so much information in this one. We aren't really working with the families, we're working with the sheriff, he said. On Wednesday, William Daniel said the Times would learn that the red pickup truck had been found if it had called the sheriff's office in Marysville. We predicted the discovery several days ago, he said. However, Undersheriff Beecham told the Times that no such truck had been found. We are not dealing with the psychic directly at all, he said. In their own effort to find the men, the parents of Madruga have asked Marysville psychic to help with the case. The psychic, Gloria Elizabeth Daniel, is a member of the metaphysical, non-denominational church called the Sadi, with headquarters in Garden Grove, everybody. Let's get on that right away. Come on! Yes! Man, this case is really taking a turn to the positive now. Mrs. Daniel would not talk to reporters, but her husband William said that the church, which practices healing and prophecy, was happy to help. We aren't really working with the families. We are working with the sheriffs, he said. On Wednesday, William Daniel said the Times would learn that the... So, let's see. She said, you'll learn that the pickup truck was found. The droid... Those aren't the droids you were looking for. Alright, got that one. I think that was... Yeah. Oh wait, no, there was still something on that last page. I skipped it a second. No, we already did that one. That one. I think we're on this one. So those are the parents. Imogene Weiher, mother of the 5 men missing. And then right, this is Carol Waltz of Brownsville, who may have seen them. I always like those old photographs like that. Looks like it's snowing in that picture. And there's the map there. I guess I could have just seen it there. But on the next page, there was a... I thought it was on this one. Let me go back to the one before. No. Alright, now we're going to June 7th. So those are all in March, the ones that we just read. And then we go to June, you know, when the sun's out and so forth. Police think, I mean, look at the way they wrote back then. Mentally, who cares? Just say they think the men may have lasted a month or something. Anyways, it says sheriff officers speculated late Tuesday that at least one of the 5 missing Marysville area men had lived. Yeah, so apparently they found some of them. I don't see. I think this is right around the time that they were found. Let me go look at something really quick on newspapers.com right before, in between that time. So let me look for, let's see, Madrigal, 1978 in March, or how about May of 1978, California. I don't think I spelled that right. Hold on. William Sterling. How about that? Now, so they're still missing on May 31st here. Wow. Thanks, Kendall Woodward Stone. Very good prediction there. That's amazing. She said, as a medium, I predict you'll receive my $10. Dang, I'm good. Well, thanks. So they're still not found. Let me see if there's any earlier June ones.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
As a medium, nah really or large, I predict you will receive my $10.00. Dang, I'm good. Flushed face.
Yeah, so on the 3rd, here we go. There is something here on the 3rd. I might have missed this. So there's still a mystery on the 3rd. And then on the 4th, nothing there. 5th. Okay. One body found. Okay, here we go. So a partially decomposed body found Sunday evening inside a trailer in a remote area of northeast Oroville has been identified as that of one of the 5 mildly mentally challenged individuals. Butte County Undersheriff Richard Stensberg said just before noon today, the body had been identified as that of Ted Weiher, 32, of Olivehurst. He and 4 other Yuba Suter area men have been the objects of an intensive search since they vanished. So what did it say? They looked inside a broken window, seeing the partially decomposed body wrapped in blankets. They reported the discovery to authorities at 9:45 p.m. So there's on the 5th. Then on the 6th, 2 more bodies of men found. The bodies of 2 more missing Marysville area men were found this morning about 3 miles from where a first body was discovered yesterday. The bodies, tentatively identified as Jack Madruga, 30, and William Sterling, 29, were found lying across each other, across either side of a canyon road. Okay, there you go. So they were found lying across either side of a canyon road. Dick Stenberg, Butte County Undersheriff, said Butte County search and rescue team members, as well as Plumas and Yuba County authorities, made the discovery as they began a second day of searching near the Daniel Zink campground, the site where the body of Ted Wheeler, 32, was found Sunday night. Okay, so that campground is right here. You know, apparently there's some sort of some trailers in this campground area somewhere. Don't know exactly where they were or are at this point, but right there, you can see it right there on the map. I mean, it says Daniel Zink Campground. It's right there. Right, hold on one second, you guys. Sorry for the no music. Yeah. I'm eating part of an apple really quick. When I was a kid, my mom took us, our grandparents took us out to dinner, and they took us, I guess we thought we were going to have steak, but they took us to some other place. And at the end I said, "Thanks for no steak." And I got spanked. I should have got spanked. Yeah. Anyways, right here it says, Dick Steinberg, Butte County Under Sheriff, said Butte County search and rescue team members, as well as the Plumas Yuba County authorities, made the discovery as they began a second day of searching near the Daniel Zink campground, the site where the body of Ted Weiher, 32, was found. Probably 3 miles down south, I would think. Steinberg said the bodies of Sterling and Madruga were lying in the open, fairly close to each other. The road they were on reportedly runs beside a canyon creek. Oh, let's see if we can. A canyon creek. So let's put the train's in there. Maybe there's some clear satellite image. That's pretty good there. Yeah, let me just leave it at the one we had it on. So there's that. And maybe that's a creek right here. I can kind of see something. See that right there? And then maybe it comes over here and down in this. Here, let's see. That could be over here too. Maybe you're like right in that area. Let me see if that's 3 miles. That's 1.5. Yeah, and there's creeks over here. It's hard to say, you know, too many variables. The other two in the original party of 5, Jack Huett, 24, and Gary Matthias, 20, had not been located by press time today. Searchers are continuing to scan the rugged mountain area northeast of Oroville. The men had been missing since February 24th. I'm laughing at your comments in the chat there. You haven't changed a bit. Thanks for no steak. Yeah, come on. An autopsy was scheduled to be performed today to discover the cause of death of Weiher. His body was transported to Quincy yesterday. According to Steinberg, the 30-foot trailer in which Weiher was found contained cases of K rations and an ample amount of butane to warm the trailer for several days. He could have survived for a month if he had all his faculties when he reached the trailer, the undersheriff said. Isn't that crazy? Like, he didn't really even need to die or anything. He just sort of... Weir's body was found wrapped in sheets and blankets on a bunk in the trailer, Steinberg said. It appeared as if others had been in at that trailer and that the blankets were found on a nearby road. Oh, wow. So other people were in there too. See, I could see a situation where there was other people in there and two left because they wanted to go try to get help and had blankets around them, but they died of exposure anyways, and the one that was in the cabin was just too weak to do anything, and they ended up dying anyways inside there. So you could look at something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be something nefarious, right? Ding, ding. Oh wait, what show was that? Oh, that was a different show. Where? I can't even find tonight's show on the, where is it? Shoot. Hold on a second. I have to open up the, I don't know what you call it. It's sort of like the control panel for the live show. The thing that I sometimes forget to shut down, and the live stream's still kind of active for hours. Results of the autopsy will not be known for several days unless doctors discover that he met with obvious foul play, Steinberg said. He said there were no signs of foul play at the trailer. Weir's body was discovered by a motorcyclist from the Marysville area as they were on their way to let's see, Bucks Lake. That's where they're on their way to. From Oroville. The discovery launched a renewed search effort after massive efforts in February and March failed to turn up any signs of the men. Searchers worked until 2:30 p.m. yesterday, checking structures in the Forest Service campground. They began their expanded search at 7:30 a.m. today. The 5 men, all said to have been slightly mentally challenged, were described by a relative of one as capable of handling normal situations but prone to become irrational under tense situations. Authorities have been unable to determine a reason for the men's presence in the mountainous area. They were to have returned to Marysville after the basketball game. One of the men had reportedly been to a cabin in the Bucks Lake area previously. Okay, so that was a couple unscheduled articles there, but it filled in a gap that I could see was missing. And there is a picture right there of Jim Sterling. Wright is comforted by a friend near the site where the body of his son William was found. So this guy right here. Kind of sad. Police think, look at how they just keep having these headlines. It's just weird. Hey, and by the way, if anybody out there wants to buy the new, well, it's not new now, but like these new red notebooks, if you send $25 on PayPal, you get one of the notebooks and a couple of the freak pens in there. You just have to tell me that's what you're ordering and make sure your address is in there. All right? Awesome. Let's see. Plymouth County Sheriff's officer speculated late Tuesday that at least one of the 5 missing Marysville area men had lived in the rugged area near here for more than a month before he died. Wow. The speculation came after searchers today found the bodies of the second and third victims, William Sterling, 29, of Yuba City, and Jack Madruga, 30, of Linda. Hey, thank you, Adniram. All right. The body of the first victim, Theodore C. Weiher, 32, of Olivehurst, was found Sunday in a Forest Service trailer in a work center near the Daniel Zink campground. See, I thought I found that the other day and I lost it. Today, not the other day. All 5 men who were mildly mentally handicapped vanished February 24th. Their abandoned car was spotted the following day stuck in the snow. Yuba County Undersheriff Jack Beecham said that judging from beard growth and emaciated condition of Weir's body, the man may have lived a month in the trailer where his body was found. The Forest Service tells us that there were 3 cases of C rations. Not that it was K. We found open around the trailer would have been enough to keep a man alive for a month, said Beecham. That and the beard growth plus the body weight indicates it's possible he stayed alive that long. Yeah, I've heard other stories like that. Searchers Tuesday found the bodies of Sterling and Madruga about 3.5 miles up a road leading away from the Forest Service work center where Weir's body was found. Wow, so they were like up from there. So on this map here, they kind of have the picture of where the 4 bodies were. And it's hard, it's not, it's a drawing, so. But usually they're somewhat accurate. So if you look at this whole thing here, they just drew straight lines. So let me try to show you what I'm looking at. So see, that right there is this. And you can see the lake. This lake is right there. And then this little dip that comes down in this one is right there. It's just kind of a quick jog that they put in there. And then, then you see this one. And that means there's another one up here and then 2 down there. If that's even. So in that map, that means they found 4 people. There's like another one here and then something like a couple down here or something, something like that. Don't really know, but that's kind of what the picture has there. See that? And that's 3 miles, so 3.5. So that's not even as much. They would be almost down here. But maybe they measured it by, which they normally do, as on a road. And these are so squiggly with, what's the name of that called? Something back. When they switchbacks where they're, going a mile would be like driving 2. All right. The body of the first victim, Theodore, 32. Okay, all 5 men who were mildly mentally handicapped vanished February 24th. The so we already threw all that. The beard growth. The search by a crew of 20 persons was to continue today beyond the snow line, farther up the same road. The 2 bodies were found Tuesday. Searchers Tuesday found a it's like it's skipping some. Yeah, I don't know. 1, 2, 3. How far is this in there? Oh, maybe it's A27. No. Yeah, it should be that. A27, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's not letting me get to the other page on that one, but I think the next one will probably have the same information. Oh, well, I have it right here. Or a different, I guess it's a different one. Dad's search for son ends at roadside grave. William Sterling began to cry when he and others found yesterday what remained of his son, Bill. Bill Sterling was one of the 5 mildly mentally handicapped men who disappeared in a blizzard February 24th. The bodies of Sterling and Jack Madruga, 30, of Linda, were found on opposite sides of a remote road to a Forest Service camp, Butte County Undersheriff Richard Steinberg said. The bodies were found on either side of the road in an open field which had been covered by snow. It appears they got lost and died of exposure. So they're saying it was an open field, but on either side of the road. So we're up here, and let's just say, I mean, these are roads right here, I think. And open field, I mean, you could have something like that, you know, it's open, but yeah, maybe something like this. Open, open, open. Don't really know, though. Thanks, LM. The men disappeared on the rugged Northern California foothills after attending a basketball game. The car was abandoned on Oroville-Quincy Road, 25 miles northeast of Oroville. The remains found yesterday were on a Forest Service road that juts off further along on the way to Quincy. It was at the end of the 12-mile road in the something like Zine Forest Service campground. They said it wrong. That Weir's body was found in that trailer. Yeah. So that was on the 7th and the 13th of June. So they're taking a picture of something here. And what that is there, I don't know if there's a body laying there or what, but Mystery Bugs Sheriff. Not knowing why 5 slightly mentally challenged young men mysteriously fled into the forest and died just bugs the hell out of Deputy Sheriff Dennis Porcino. Hey, thanks, Caligal3. I can't believe they let them travel that far without an adult mentally.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is I don't think that they're really.
They let them travel that far without adult
They said that they were slightly mentally challenged, so it's kind of lame that they were in like the Special Olympics and shit like that. You know, if you ask me, anyways. The group vanished into the stormy Sierra while driving home 50 miles after a basketball game on February 24th. 110 days ago today. But why? Family members say they were frightened or forced. Authorities first speculated they lost their way, but now they aren't so sure. They'd like to know what really happened to Jack Madruga, Jack Huett, Gary Matthias, Ted Weiher, and William Sterling. Bodies of the 4 of the missing men were found last week, so I guess they found 4. And searchers led by Forcino of the Plumas County Sheriff's Office continued today to look for the 5th Matthias. As the tragic pieces of the group's losing battle for survival in the mountains 52 miles east of Oroville and about 20 miles west of Quincy is unraveled. Unraveled. It has been because of, it has become apparent that their suffering defied description. The 5, all of whom lived happy, insulated lives with their families in the Marysville, Yuba City area, deviated from their normally set pattern of outings only once, the night they turned off the freeway, drove past Lake Oroville, and up a mountain road until the pavement ended, then followed a dirt track until their vehicle mired down some 200 yards into the snow line. They got out, so the account goes, walked and ran uphill in the middle of the night into the deepening drifts. The family, this is an article by Carrick Leavitt, or Levitt. So the thing is, it's this is one of those ones that's better than the other articles because they actually can write. The family points out that several were afraid of the dark, and at least two, Sterling and Weiher, abhorred cold weather and the outdoors. Now that the bodies have been found, authorities know the men wearing street clothes and low-cut shoes made their way, listen to this, 19 miles through 4 and 6 foot deep snow. A storm howled most of the night, and I mean that's almost miraculous. 19 miles wearing just garbage clothing. And they walked 19 miles through 4 and 6 feet deep snow. I mean, are you kidding me? That's almost ridiculous. A storm howled most of the night, and Forcino figures it took at least a day and the night to travel that distance before Weiher and possibly 2 others stumbled onto a snowbank Forest Service trailer in the Daniel Zink campgrounds. Sterling and Madruga apparently died 4.5 miles short, so now it's 4.5 miles, of the trailer. Weiher, his feet frozen solid, lived in the trailer from 8 to 13 weeks before he succumbed to exposure, although he had matches at his disposal, extra clothing, and a few blankets and plenty of food. Either he or another of the victims busted into a shed outside and got sea rations, said Forcino. 3 cases were completely consumed. Each case contained 12 individual meals, things like stew, can of crackers, can of fruit. A total of 36 meals were eaten. His shoes were off and missing when we found him. Forcino believes Huett and possibly Matthias made it to the trailer with Weiher, then left again. He surmises that Huett, confused and horrified after Weiher died, left to get away from the body. The 2 were very close. Weir's body was found first on June 4th. The sun had melted snow across the roadway, and an off-road motorcyclist riding the area noticed a broken window in the trailer. He looked in and saw the decomposing body, a sheet pulled up to his chin, laying face up on a bunk. A massive search was launched, and Sterling and Madruga's body were found June 6th, 3.5 miles short of the trailer, on opposite sides of a mountain road. Hewitt's body was found June 7th by a brother-in-law taking part in the search 2.5 miles past the trailer. Wild animals had scattered his remains. His skull was found 100 yards from his body. Varmints had also mutilated Sterling and Madruga, Deputy Forsino said. Sterling's skull was 50 yards from the main part of his body. Madruga's right arm had been bitten off. He lay on his side, gripping a watch in his left hand. Forsino found Sterling's body 15 feet off the road. The young man's father, William Sr., was the second person on the scene. "How do you know?" he asked. "Sir, we found the wallet," said Forsino. "It has the pictures of Sterling's 20-year-old twin sister and the social security number." The father broke down and began sobbing. It ended a mystery that has plagued Sheriff Department in 3 counties since the car was first discovered, but raised many more questions. Why did they go up there? They apparently were last seen alive by Joseph Sconces, 55, Rancho Cordova, who told investigators he was stuck in the snow around the bend from where the car driven by Madruga mired down. Sconces' story has altered several times, possibly because he was ill and suffering from hypothermia. Said that while trying to push his vehicle free, he suffered a mild heart attack. I mean, his story just sounds so... doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good at all. In one version, he reported seeing the touring car carrying the 5 men and a pickup truck with a woman and 3 men. Later he said he wasn't sure about the pickup. Sconces said he heard whistling noises coming from down the road. Regaining strength, he staggered down the road and saw the group of people. He called out to help again, he said, and the people scattered into the night. Sconces later struggled 5 miles before he found assistance at a house and was taken to a hospital for heart attack treatment. He did not notify authorities about the truck, car, and people running into the night until he saw news reports concerning the missing men and the discovery of their abandoned vehicle. "Something that really bothered the hell out of me," said Forsino, "that someone did see a pickup truck. That bugs the hell out of me. This stuff he mentioned about hearing a scream or a high-pitched whistle. Also, he said the mountains are interlaced with roads and the chances of walking straight to a trailer were very slim. If you didn't know where it was, it would be 1 in 1,000 of finding that kind of place." Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just there's a lot of weird stuff here. "It makes no sense whatsoever. It's nothing like I've ever seen." I mean, you could almost say like somebody was in the trailer with Weiher and they ate food and stayed there until he was like too weak and was going to die, and then but it makes more sense that 3 people found it and they were in there, and then maybe 2 of them tried to get out and left, and they died out of exposure again. I mean, they were probably so cool, but how come they never use any of the, like try to set a fire or something? I mean, then you bring in the part about them being mentally challenged or something. "It makes no sense whatsoever. It's nothing like I've ever seen, going uphill when you're lost, taking off in street shoes and tennis shoes, going uphill in the snow. Most people go downhill when they're lost, or they go in circles, not in a straight line like this. The men's families insist they'd never go into the mountains alone, night or day. Weiher lived with his mother, Imogene, and worked with Huett, his best friend, for PGE, winding cable. They got the job through Gateway Project, a group in Yuba which assists the mentally handicapped in becoming productive citizens. We loved sports and played basketball with Huett. Matthias was, let's see, I'm just going to move forward here. I'm more looking into the, let's see, these kinds of boys, each one had their own mental disability. They followed a straight pattern. They wouldn't have gone out of their way like that unless somebody enticed them out up there. Huett lived with the family on a farm. He played with his beagle, Bo, and rode around on his parents' property on his 90cc Honda. He was a delight, said his mother, Sarah. He was just slow but really happy. He and Ted were so inseparable. Ted always took care of Jackie. It's like a dream, like a nightmare. I knew they found Ted, Jackie would be nearby. It's up on this picture up at the top. It's Jack Huett on the left, William Sterling, the next person, Jack Madruga in the middle, Ted Weiher, the fourth guy, and Gary Matthias, the fourth one. Alright, and also, I haven't said it much tonight, but on this channel, if you guys would like to help support the channel with super chats or PayPal, if you send $25, you get the notebook. But super chats on here, and then what I do is I try to, well, I don't just try, I do. I donate over 50% of the net revenue to charities because that's what I want to do, and we have a DNA fund that we build up that makes a big difference. So if you're somebody out there that can afford and wants to help out to support my channel, I do these shows every single day for 3-4 hours, going over all kinds of different cases, and this is more of a mystery, but it's interesting. If you want to help out like that, that'd be great. So thank you very much. Yeah. There was no reason to go up there, she said. It was a bad road. He wouldn't drive his car up the bad road. He respected it. Yeah, so I mean everybody's just totally confused here. Looks like somebody's taking a photograph here of something. And then on June 19th, so here's one that had a sort of an updated map with the 4 that were found. And I guess the car, it looks like it was found based on that map. Let's see. Yeah, like right around in this area. Car found. Yeah, let's see. 4 months ago, so this is now in June of 1978, June 19th though. 4 months ago, 5 slightly mentally challenged young men, inexplicably miles off the familiar route to their homes from a college basketball game, vanished into the snowy wilderness of the Sierra Nevada. The intense and prolonged search for the 5 friends by sheriff's investigators and relatives proved fruitless. It was only the late spring thaw that led to the discovery of the bodies of 4 of the 5 men 2 weeks ago. Still, the mystery surrounding their disappearance has deepened, and the questions that have plagued the anguished families and baffled law enforcement officers since that February night persists. Yeah, that Elk Retreat. It's hard to know exactly where that is. The 5 men, clad only in lightweight clothing, abandoned the relative safety of their car and struck out into the deep snowdrifts and silent, terrifying darkness, only to die. One of them almost made it, living for perhaps as long as 13 weeks. I mean, that's 3 months. That's crazy. in a Forest Service trailer within 50 feet of all the necessities of life which for some reason he spurned. The sparse evidence so far uncovered indicates that at least one other of the missing men had also sought safety in the shelter, then left it. Family and friends of the men and sheriff investigators find themselves grasping at the few hard facts in the case, constructing theories that sometimes collapse with the surfacing of new clues. And what gnaws most desperately, they say, is that virtually none of the theories make sense. Well over 100 days after the disappearance, they continue to ask the same question that has dogged them from the beginning. Why? Why would 5 men who lived their lives by habit, I wonder if these kids were autistic a little bit, like high functioning, and that's why they're using words like that, Why would 5 men who lived their lives by habit, never indulging in whims, voluntarily drive into the mountains the night before their Special Olympics basketball tournament, which they were looking forward to with anticipation, without warm clothing and carrying no food or supplies? Why would they park their car on a mountain road and struggle miles uphill in 5 to 10 foot drifts instead of taking the easier downhill route or waiting for help in the vehicle? More perplexing, why would one of the men make no attempt to use the warm clothing and heating materials only a few feet away from him? Ted Weiher, Jack Madruga, Gary Matthias, Bill Sterling, and Jack Huett. We actually went to school with a guy in high school named Jack Huett. Just nice, friendly boys who went to games together and went home, the mother of one said recently. Weiher 32, Madruga 30, and Sterling 29 were classified as slow learners. Investigators said, while Huett, the youngest, at 24, was somewhat more mentally challenged. Matthias, 25, who sheriff deputies said had trouble with drugs while in the Army, was under medication for schizophrenia. Several of the men had full-time jobs gained through the Gateway Project, an organization for handicapped, but the rest of their time was spent in athletics, either playing sports or watching sports, their families said. On February 24th, they traveled from their home in Marysville, Yuba City area, 50 miles north of Chico, to watch their favorite basketball team, UC Davis, compete against Chico State. After the Chico game that Friday, the 5 stopped briefly at a small neighborhood market in Chico, annoying a clerk there by buying junk foods just before 10 p.m. closing time. It was the last time any of them was seen alive. Several days later, their car was found on a snowy mountain road in Sierra, northeast of Oroville, far from the route which would have taken them from Chico to their homes. No trace of the men was found. Relatives and law enforcement officers began searching the area shortly, but severe blizzard blanketed the area with several feet of snow. So there is, like it says right here, last entry in Ted Weir's diary tells of plans for Special Olympic Games. So this is even probably before they went and got lost. Just talks about, February 25th, Sierra College, da-da-da-da. I mean, to me, that's not really important or anything, other than to say that they weren't really documenting or planning on any crazy trip at that point. Okay, I'm going to move on now. So this is, now we're into February of the next year. See if they've added anything to it. The bitter cold had already taken its toll. 3 of their friends had collapsed by the roadside, and Ted Wheeler's feet were badly frostbitten. He needed the help of the remaining companions, Gary Matthias, to hobble into the U.S. Forest Service trailer they had just broken open. Matthias, 25, helped Weiher, 32, onto the bed in the trailer and covered him up with the blankets they had just taken from a nearby shed, and set the cases of sea rations they had found in the same shed within his injured friend's reach. After getting Weir set, Matthias exchanged his tennis shoes for Weir's leather ones. Then Matthias plunged back into the darkness. That's kind of what I was thinking, that version right there. In search of their 3 other friends. Matthias never came back. No one knows for sure because the actors in the drama are all dead or missing, but this could have been the scene a year ago when 5 mildly mentally handicapped men vanished into the night after attending a basketball game in Chico. What became a tragedy started as a group of friends on an outing. Jack Madruga, 30, and Jack Huett, 24, both of Linda, Matthias and Weir, both of Olivehurst, and William Sterling, 29, of Yuba City, came to Chico the night of February 24th to watch a basketball game between Chico State University and University of California at Davis. After the game, the 5 disappeared into the night, but like the pieces of a puzzle, clues have surfaced, providing at least possible explanation of what happened that night. 4 days after the men disappeared, the car in which they had been riding was found abandoned on the Oro Quincy Highway, 8 miles east of the Mountain House Tavern. Investigators Lance Eyre and Yuba County Sheriff Department said Matthias had an acquaintance whom he visited occasionally in Forbestown. It is possible the 5 took the Oro Quincy Highway to get to Forbestown but missed the turn. The road was rebuilt, according to Butte County Sheriff Lieutenant Ken Mickelson, head of the county's search and rescue team. Where the turn had once been a gentle Y intersection, it had been redesigned into a T intersection. Even Butte Sheriff deputies who are familiar with the road will regularly miss the turn, Mickelson said. The car apparently became mired in a deep layer of snow at the base of a small hill. The men then abandoned the car, but instead of going to any of the 14 nearby cabins, they continued up the road. It has nothing to do with being mentally challenged or anything else. It's a natural reaction to keep going if they think they are traveling in the right direction. The bodies of Madruga and Sterling were found off the side of the road 14 miles from where their car was located. That's just crazy. The trailer where Weir's body was found was 19 miles from the car, and Hewitt's body was found about a mile away from the trailer. The weather and men's physical condition allowed the 5 to go as far as they did. So Madruga, Sterling, Weir, and Huett. Say, what was that again? It was Madruga, Sterling, Weir, and Huett. So Gary Matthias still hasn't even been found. The weather and the men's physical condition allowed the 5 to go as far as they did. The cold weather had frozen the deep drifts of snow, and it was possible to walk without sinking deeply. Mickelson noted, The 5 were members of a basketball team, and all of them were in good physical shape. They were all athletes. If they were basketball players, you have to know they had stamina, Mickelson said. What happened to Huett is less clear. Although parts of his body were found a mile beyond Daniel Zink Campground, where the trailer was located, Hewitt's body was found scattered by animals, and Mickelson said there is no reason to believe the place where the remains were found was where he died. Surprisingly, despite tanks of butane and fuel oil just outside a trailer full of paper, matches, and other burnable materials, there was no indication. It's almost like they really wanted to get to that basketball game, you know? I don't know. It's weird. Like, we got to get to that game, you know? I mean, instead of just saying, oh shit, man, we got to stay here for a while, keep warm, eat some of these rations and so forth. Instead, people are trying to get out of there. They had a good place. They were in a safe place to be. Mickelson speculated the 2 may not have known the butane was there because it might have been buried in the snow. However, the oil tank was on a stand well above the snow. Ayers believes Matthias, who had been in the military, and was the only one of the 5 who had any survival training, would have started a fire if he had stayed in the trailer for any length of time. On the other hand, according to investigators, Weiher might not have been willing to light a fire. Weiher was deathly afraid of the fire, Ayers said. He had been in a house fire once and had responded badly to the emergency after that. Weir's family impressed on him the danger of fire. Another clue suggesting to Ayers that Matthias had reached the trailer but had not stayed was the presence of the man's shoes. Oh. So Matthias did make it to the trailer, but he's like he left quickly. Weir's leather shoes were found, but Matthias's tennis shoes were found in the trailer. Let's see. Weir's leather shoes were missing, but Matthias's tennis shoes were found in the trailer. The Yuba County officer theorized Matthias may have stayed in the trailer as little as an hour before he left, perhaps to look for help or to locate his fallen comrades. Yeah, that's probably more likely. Here's what it looks like right here. That's what those are the trailers that they were staying in. Or one of them. If Weir was afraid of fire, okay. After Matthias left, Weir may have lived as long as 13 weeks. The pathologist thinks he was there either 13 weeks before he died, Ayers said. Weir had been clean-shaven when he disappeared, but had several weeks' growth of beard when his body was discovered. Ayers also said 3 cases, 72 cans of sea rations, were found in the trailer, and most of the cans had been opened and the contents eaten. The pathologist reported Weir's finally died of exposure. He had lost 5 toes to frostbite, and gangrene had set in by the time he died. Unlike those of his companions, Matthias's body was never found. The chances are pretty slim that he will be found, Mickelson said. If he's someplace like down in Soapstone Canyon, where nobody goes, I don't think we'll ever find him. Despite the clues, there are no conclusive answers as to what happened that night. Even the possibility of foul play has not been ruled out. Ayers said nothing has been uncovered that suggests foul play, but so many questions remain a matter of speculation that no possibility can be ruled out. What actually happened? I don't think we'll ever know, said Mickelson. Hey, what's going on? 8675309. Man, we had such a good start to the show and just absolutely are getting creamed now. We're like halfway to a notebook. What happened? Man, has it been that shitty? Here's something that this is 1979, March 6th. Somebody wrote, said, this time last year, Ted Weiher and 4 friends from the Maryville, Yuba area in Northern California anxiously awaited their Special Olympics basketball tournament. "We are number 1," read the scrawled writing in Weir's spiral diary. If their team won the Sacramento qualifying tournament, it meant a trip to Southern California and Disneyland for the 5 slightly mentally challenged men. But they never made it to the game last February 24th. The night before the tournament, they vanished into a snowy wilderness of the Sierra Nevada, miles off the familiar route they took from a college basketball game to Chico. I think this is similar to that last one that we just read, so I'm going to move on to the next one. 2019. So here's a 2019 one where this is that sheriff. He looks pretty young, man, for being the sheriff back then, and that's 1978, and this is 2019. Former Yuba County Sheriff Jack Beecham holds a newspaper clipping of the missing 5 in January. The men went missing after attending a Chico basketball game. So let's see what this thing says, even though it's long as hell. Yeah, that's the last part anyways. So this is, 2019. Let's see what's in this. I think this is kind of up over where you go skiing or something. 8675309. Man. No notebooks, no nothing. Man, this has been crazy. Alright, let me go back to the first page. Oh, that's it right here. Four studs of the Yuba County Special Needs Community. Yeah, I think it's just some strangeness, like when you get cold you do weird things. 4 studs of the Yuba County Special Needs Community, Jack Madruga, Ted Weiher, Jack Huett, and Bill Sterling, met their premature end in freezing Plumas National Forest after 1978 Chico State basketball game. What happened to the 5th member of their party, Gary Matthias, may never be known. Slim with dark hair, a small birthmark on the right side of his chin, and double vision when not wearing glasses, Matthias was an outlier among the missing 5. The other intellectually disabilities became clear in their younger years. Thanks, Tosh. And thanks for, it's hard to be one of the few that's actually, I always feel bad for you, but I appreciate your help and support for the channel. But let's see. The others' intellectual disabilities became clear in their younger years. Sterling had spent most of his childhood in Napa State Hospital, then called Napa Insane Asylum, according to case files with the Yuba County Sheriff's Office. But Matthias was first placed into a psychiatric ward as a sophomore in high school following a bad hallucinogenic trip, his parents told investigators. He consistently used drugs throughout his service in the U.S. Army in the early 1970s, which included a sharpshooting medal, an AWOL arrest, and a medical discharge for paranoid schizophrenia, according to the sheriff's files. While in the sheriff's custody after his AWOL arrest in February 1973, Matthias called 2 sergeants and a deputy to his cell, according to case files. When they opened the cell, he walked into the hallway, stark naked, and punched one of the sergeants in the face, sending his blood spilling from his mouth. So it's weird, though. This is Matthias, right? And he's the one that, when Matthias was first placed, psychiatric ward, parents told investigator, he had the hallucinogenic trip. Then he was in the army. After his AWOL arrest in February 1973, Matthias called 2 sergeants and a deputy to his cell, according to case files. Hey, thank you, Plato. Tina Susser. And Lisa Valenzuela. Appreciate your guys' support for the channel and also allowing us to donate as much money as we do. Without your support, we can't do that. But, so far the channel's donated $140,000 since January 2020. And a lot of you, contributed tons and tons of money over those 3 years or 3.5 years. And, it's made a huge difference. That's why we're able to do it. And also it allows me to keep doing the shows. I wouldn't be able to justify keep doing the show if it was just sort of like, if it just goes wah, 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 into oblivion. Okay? I just can't do it. There's a lot of sacrifices being done here. I mean, you guys don't realize that, but I really never get to go do cool shit in the evenings. I have to watch most of the time the Blazer games after the show's over on Rewind. I don't get to go to various out to parties and it's my choice and everything. But I do these shows every single day of the week, 7 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a day. 300, basically 300 days a year at the least. And, I feel like I put out something that's pretty interesting where we go through this stuff. And it's sort of strange that you have people watch for hours and hours and hours and they just then they check out or unsubscribe afterwards because they're assholes. And, I'm just tired of I'm basically really sick of the whole YouTube experience, having to struggle all the time, asking. It's just, I hate it, can't stand it. So, and I hate that, I do these shows and the last 40 days in a row, I've lost subscribers. I'll get 30, lose 50. Get 35, lose 46, every single day for 40 something days in a row. And after a while it just gets kind of depressing, the whole thing. And I think it's because you get all these subscribers for covering the Idaho 4 and Murdaws and all that shit, and then they get a notification about something 2 or 3 in a row that aren't about anything they're interested in and just unsubscribe. And it really it just sucks. And then you do these shows and you would think that it'd be pretty easy to just for people to pretend that we're at Starbucks and I made you a coffee, right? Except I made you a coffee that took 3.5 hours. But no, it doesn't work that way. People would rather, blaze down their cigarettes and, guzzle down beers and screw the guy that let you sit there for the 3.5 hours drinking your beer and blazing down the cigarettes. Sucks. Okay, anyways. Let me get to this one right here. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I mean, I always appreciate the ones that are here all the time, but what I really don't like are the ones that aren't doing that. Okay? And, just really frustrating. I have to be honest with you. And like you said, you guys, I always tell you how I feel. I'm not just going to make something up to be cool and neato and have everybody like me. Very, very frustrating. Yeah. Right. Nobody's even typing either. Maybe I'll just finish this up tomorrow or something. Not really feeling it. It's just, you know, spent the whole day getting this shit together and just goes, wow. Oh yeah, the background music. Yeah, that's great, Eddie. That's great. Yeah. Put your ass on timeout. What a dumb comment. Hey, thanks, Tina. But I don't want, you know, I appreciate you guys. They're always supporting and stuff. It's just not really that fair. But I appreciate you're always doing it, but it's so lame that other people, you know, like so much burden gets put on the regular people that support the channel. It's not cool. Don't like it. Struggle Bus. Hey, welcome, Struggle Bus. Come on, Scouting Dude. No way. I don't rock. I'm frustrated as hell. Frustrated as hell is what I am, Scouting Dude. That's what it really comes down to, but thank you. I mean, just try to picture it in your own life, you guys. If you spent like 5-6 hours getting stuff together, you know, trying to make sure it's in the right order, getting things worked out, and then you do something and you got, I don't know, it's sad that, you know, if I covered the Idaho 4 since the Idaho 4 case went kind of dead, I'd probably have 130,000 subs right now, easy, because I would have kept making the 3D animations and all that kind of stuff. But you don't do that, and you cover these cases that nobody ever talks about. I mean, this one isn't even that popular. And it just sort of, you know, nobody's interested. It's weird. Lots of possibilities in the marketing department. Well, I actually think that, I'm not sure what you're talking about. The marketing stuff, everyone always sends me emails on that. I don't even want to do any of that stuff. I just do the show. You know, if people don't like it, I don't have time to do any of that stuff. I mean, that's the reality. I just don't. You know, what I have time for is getting the show together and doing it. And everybody always talks about, oh yeah, I got these ideas, and you know, they're just so, I mean, YouTube tries to tell you what they want you to do, like to do the shorts, and then do a short video, and do a short video that mentions, hey, we're going to do a show later on the short video, and then you get a lot of subs from the short videos, and then, but who has time to do the short video when you're getting all the, it's crazy.
Love you, Gray. Appreciate you.
Well, thanks Linda Howell and Kimberly Faith and Lori Will and Kay Me. But anyways, and thanks again, Scouting Dude. Man, you didn't have to do that, but appreciate it.
You do a really good job, Gray. Sorry things are frustrating right now.
Well, I'm more frustrated just with the whole, you know, like I don't really care that much about subscribers, really, the numbers, but what I don't like is have it always go down every single day. You know, it's like, it gets to the point where you're sort of, I mean, it looks exactly the same on a chart. Like, let me show you what this looks like. Hold on a second. I mean, there's just a lot of these little stressing things that are going on in this arena, you know. Well, thanks, Dave. All right. Anyways, I'll just read through this thing here. I think I can do it. So this article's from 2019 here. Are you talking about the marketing thing, Rebecca? Well, if you want to send me an email, if you have some simple ideas, if they're difficult, like a lot of really time-consuming, I mean, I'm trying to make videos still on different cases and things, so I'm not going to have any time to do anything. So, you know, if you have an idea that's like zero time intensive, then that'd be awesome. But those aren't very likely. Okay, so what we were just talking about is the one person that they haven't found yet, still I think, is Matthias here. So while he was in the sheriff's custody, and he said he had some hallucinations on, or he had something bad happen to him on maybe acid or mushrooms or something. While in sheriff custody, after his AWOL arrest in February of 1973, let's see, Matthias called 2 sergeants and a deputy to his cell, according to cases. Yeah, but go ahead, Rebecca. Go ahead and send me something. Send me what your idea, any thoughts that you have. I mean, I don't mind anybody that has thoughts out there. It's just, you know, take off my clothes. Jesus, you guys are crazy. You wouldn't, yeah, wouldn't be the greatest. What the hell's going on? That's too, man, it's weird, this camera up here. Oh, I don't think it was. My thing is I mean, it's cool to make money doing your show, but my thing is I want to be able to keep doing what we're doing. You know, the $140,000 or more, I want to get to $1 million donated at some point. Crime dissector, I'm a certified Maladi detector. Thanks, Kelly Snyder. I can hear
You're the best.
the avocado music. And thank you very much, Kimberly Ann, with the lemon, the lemon heart dancer face. Yeah, we're at 140. I mean, I think at the end of this year we should be at, well, almost. I don't think we'll probably like 180 or something. You know. I don't even know what that means, this account. Anyways, while in sheriff custody after his AWOL arrest in February 1973, Matthias called 2 sergeants and a deputy to his cell, according to case files. Oh, and thank you again to Kimberly Ann and Kelly Snyder. Very generous, thank you very much. Matthias called 2 sergeants and a deputy to his cell, according to case files. When they opened his cell, he walked into the hallway, stark naked, and punched one of the sergeants in the face, sending blood spilling from his mouth and nose. He tried to hit the other sergeant as well, but was subdued. I've been in the Army, and I don't like it, and I thought if I hit a cop, maybe they'd let me out, he told investigators at the time. He later received a medical discharge. That same month, Matthias was watching TV at his I wonder if they're focusing in on him here. There it is. In the article. Yeah, but I appreciate that, Jay Thorpe. But there's a lot of people out in the social media that absolutely hate my guts and don't think I do anything for anybody. And it's all just one big grift out here. I mean, that's what they literally think that shit. And no, it's not. I mean, I would be the worst grifter on the planet giving away $140,000. Wouldn't you think? And there's been many times that people don't really know about, and I don't say names or anything. For holidays or various times where, I've helped people out. Okay? And we do the charities too, and I also give back thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in giveaways on the show. Okay? So it's crazy. I would say this: if let's just pretend that I made $100,000 that I got, and I donated $60,000. Let's just pretend that was the number. Wouldn't that still be amazing? Who gives away that percentage of an income that they get? Usually people try to do 10% or, for the church and everything like that. You've seen it. And people think, oh, well, you get to write it off. Well, but who cares? You lost more than you get back on the write-offs. Don't they get that part? For example, if you made $100,000 and you donate 20, that means you're taxed on 80. So that means you pay a little bit less in taxes. Well, thank you, Simple Life Days, and thank you for the kind words up there. I always feel like I'm having to explain shit to people just over and over and over again. And the weird part is everybody on this channel knows what I do here.
Channel on YouTube.
There isn't anybody that thinks that I'm a charity intake company. Okay, I am Grant Hughes Investigates. If you guys send in tips or whatnot, it goes to the income to my channel, and I have decided that I want to donate over 50% of the net revenue on YouTube to various charities. And I use PayPal and other things like that to augment that, to make sure it's over that. It's always over that. And I use PayPal for stuff that I need, like if I need a new computer, if I have to go to CrimeCon and buy stuff and that kind of thing. And also, you guys are buying merchandise, the notebooks and stuff through PayPal a lot. Right? So I try to be an open book here and tell you exactly what's going on. And it just doesn't seem to make a difference to some of the trolls out there that are, what do you call them? They are absolutely, the classic definition of bullying and stalking type behavior. It's really bizarre. But thank you guys very much. I keep distracting and getting off of. I want to finish this because it seems kind of interesting here. Yeah, I think it's a really cool community. We show up every night. Our freaks are hanging out. We start out the show with hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. Oh, cool, Gene. No, well, he had medication, Sandra, but he apparently wasn't. He doesn't have it, obviously, on this trip. So you could see something really weird happening with him. But what still will never make sense is why Weiher, why he, amongst all this food and things, he just quit eating and just sort of died. It reminds me, there was a story, I think, in Oregon somewhere, where this lady, a camper, drove up this road that it wasn't supposed to in the winter. A guy actually, I think. And the camper got stuck in the snow. And then instead of the person walking to the end of that road, which was sort of a bigger road where, it wasn't closed, he sat in the camper and he ended up writing in a journal the whole time, and then he just sort of died in there. Just withered away. Well, cool, Alley Cake. Alley Cake. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys have helped me through a lot of times too, I'm just, some days I'm, you're sort of bummed out or whatever, and sometimes you come on here and get happy. Sometimes I come on here and get bummed out. No, but I mean, it's, you guys are, I feel like we're friends and we're on a mission doing something. I mean, we have 6 DNA cases that we're working on right now. They're all being worked on at some stage in it. And don't you think that itself is just sort of unusual and completely unique in the true crime world? Instead, people focus in on, yes, everybody, listen, I try to get and have people send in super chats and PayPals and stuff like that, because I know what it takes to be able to do what we did last year. Last year was nuts. $62,000 to true crime related charities. 42 the year before and 22 the year before that. So that is part of what I got to do. I wish I didn't have to do that, though. Like literally talking out loud or letting you know, like on certain nights, like maybe tonight, where it was just, it started off good and then it just went, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, every night can't be the same. I get it, but, well, thanks, Lisa. I don't know. Here's what I think. This is what I think to actually be true, what I'm about to tell you. This channel right here is probably one of maybe 4 or 5 YouTube channels that literally makes a difference out there in the true crime world. Like, actually makes a measurable difference. And that is the truth. We do stuff here. We actually make a difference. And whether you want to believe it or not, go, oh, that's not true, Gray. That's one person, what they did was... Okay, you can go talk about that one. That one time when somebody did this one thing. We are always doing something. Every single month, often during the month, we are contributing and, giving money to places like NCMEC, Texas EquiSearch, RAIN, all of those places. And now we're added the Wounded Warrior Fund. And yes, somebody on this website said, oh, did you see that? Gray started donating to Wounded Warrior just because Scouting Dude, And it's like, well, maybe it was him that made me think of it. Like, wow, I really respect Scouting Dude. He wrote me a letter when he sent me the medals and stuff. And I thought, God, that'd be great. Why not, do that? But if Scouting Dude never sends me another nickel, I'm still sending money into the Wounded Warrior Project. Okay? I want to do it. It might not be as much as like Texas EquiSearch and things like that. Wow, Rounded Joe. Hey, thanks, man. Scouting Dude. We're not going to get the rap music. We're going to get... Yeah. So that's just the truth. These people on social media are absolutely some of the dumbest people I've ever seen, especially on Reddit. Whew, wow. Yeah. Yeah, well, no, they think I do it just take... Okay, here's what they said. They think that I'm only sending money into Wounded Warriors just so that Scouting Dude will keep sending me super chats. That's what they said on this website. They sit there and watch our chat and they go, ooh, let me see what I can do next. I mean, what a bunch of disgusting people they are. I don't care. Like, if he never sent another nickel in, I've sent money into other military causes before. Like a couple of years ago. I can't remember which one, but it just... No, isn't that nuts, though? That's what they say, though. Those kinds of things. And I don't mind saying it, that's what they say, because I know it's not true, so it's not like something I'm trying to hide or something. These people are lunatics. So I've got that going on. I've got the negative daily subscriber counts kicking in. And so all that stuff together is sort of really your whining personality. Oh, your winning personality. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, winning person. Yeah, that's right. Never heard of the case. Thank you for that. K looking up. Who's K? Yeah, no, we've already gone through the whole thing, basically. But I got this last article that I want to get through here. Yeah, he totally made me, you know, I was just thinking, the letter he wrote about how he, I think it was out in the the North Korea DMZ zone there, where, I think that's where it was. Yeah, where he wasn't supposed to let anybody in without a certain pass or something, and then his, high up, I don't know, general or whatever he was tried to come in without it. He goes, nope, you can't come in. And instead of him getting, like, you know, those guys can... And I guess he got in by threatening one of the North Korean... the Korean, the South Korean guard, you know, was going to try to shame him. And honor is a big deal over there. So that South Korean guard let him in, but or something like that later. But he wouldn't let him in. I don't know if I'm butchering the story, but then later his superior gave him a medal for doing what he was told to do, even under the pressure of having the higher up. Is that about right? Pretty close, anyways. Yeah. I wish I remembered all the levels and everything. But. 2 weeks is all it takes for delusions to set in. Yeah. You can say what you want. But Gray's a teddy bear, maybe a gruffy one at the time, but Lord, his heart is always in the right place. We have done amazing things over here. Yep, we sure have. Oh, he said I got it right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it was an awesome story. So, you know, in honor of him, I thought, well, shit. And he also said he got wounded in over there, so I thought, well, hell, I'll just do, we'll do Wounded Warriors in honor of him. You know, and I bet you anything, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, but I doubt most true crime channels don't donate to something like that. And normally we wouldn't either, but I always think of like police officers, military, firefighters, you know, all the people serving our country, allowing us to live in, you know, the way that we are. I mean, I wish we had more law enforcement in our country anyways, and you know, you don't want to have to use your military, but you have to have your military or you're just a sitting duck for a country that has one. That's why Canada can just sit there without really having a large military, because they know we're here and we'll protect them. Gray, you're so mean. That's not true. We got this. Okay, that's great. Let me just ask you, do you think if Russia invaded Canada, we wouldn't be right there to help you in like 2 seconds? Yeah, you know that's the reality of it. I mean, they'd come and help us too, but they don't have to spend as much money on military. They also don't have as many people there. Dom G. And that being said, I love all the Canadian freaks out there. Don't be offended by stuff like that. Yeah. Did you hear what Gray said? Thanks. Don G. Oh, there's a Canadian right there. Look, see? Don G's like, well, hell, I'm taking my money back. I didn't. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just seems so obvious, you know. Let me just get back. I'm gonna roll into the story again over here. Okay, the only part that I'm interested in right now is this guy named Matthias. So he's the one that's still. Well, here it is. He's the guy on the right there with that hat on, military hat. Almost looks like a police officer hat though. Yeah, we don't hate Canadians or anything. Oh, really? Sweet. Well, tell your husband thank you, Kelly. It's very cool. I remember after 9/11, man, every time I'd go to like eat sushi or something, and there was anybody in the military in there, I'd just buy their food. I would just go up and pay for it and take off, you know.
Thanks for donating to the Wounded Warrior. My husband was in the military for 25
Or hell,
years.
even police officers at that time. It was that feeling was so different. I felt like the whole country was on this. We were all on the same page. You know, now it's just absolute joke. You know, I can't stand it. Mm-hmm. Scout is probably saying, hell, I should have lived in Portland for that time. I would have gone there every day. Yeah. Yeah. All right. How about this? I'm going to get through this, and then at the end, if we have anything else, we'll talk about that. So let me just read this part again. But Matthias was first placed in psychiatric ward as a sophomore in high school following a bad hallucinogenic trip. His parents told investigators. He consistently used drugs throughout his service in the U.S. Army in the early 1970s, which included a sharpshooting medal. So he did get a sharpshooting medal, an AWOL arrest, and a medical discharge for paranoid schizophrenia, according to the sheriff's files. While in sheriff's custody, after his AWOL arrest in February 1973, Matthias called 2 sergeants and a deputy to the cell, according to case files. So he's the one that called them to the cell. When they opened his cell, he walked into the hallway, stark naked, and punched one of the sergeants in the face, sending blood spilling down from his mouth and nose. He tried to hit the other sergeant as well, but was subdued. I've been in the Army, and I don't like it, and I thought if I hit a cop, maybe they'd let me out, he told investigators at the time. He later received a medical discharge. I thought I was going to say medal for a second, but that was like, what? That same month, Matthias was watching TV at his cousin's. Wait, just the next page, right? Oh, wow, look at that, random. Carol Ann Anderson and Rainey. I think I did that one. Oh, boy. Hold on. I've lost the other page. Six. 7. Oh, I think this is it right here. That's a long one. It was 8A. So it was about a cousin, right? I lost the spot. I've seen that case. Okay, so it says, the same month, Matthias was watching TV at his cousin's house around 8:30 a.m. while the cousin's 17-year-old wife slept groggy from medication used to cope with an ongoing illness. The cousin went to check on Matthias after a bathroom break, turned suspiciously long, and allegedly found him straddling the woman, groping her breasts as she lay nearly motionless in her underwear, according to case files. Wow. The cousin asked Matthias what he was doing, to which he allegedly replied that he wanted to kiss the woman. When the cousin said he was calling 911, Matthias allegedly responded, "Good, I want to go back to jail." Matthias pleaded guilty to battery of a peace officer for the jail incident. A second charge of assault with intent to rape was dropped as a result of his plea deal, the Marysville Appeal Democrat reported at the time. Wow, this guy, who knows what was going on up there. Yuba County Superior Court employees are still unable to find details of Matthias' sentence. Under current California law, he would have faced up to 3 years in prison if convicted of battery of a peace officer and 9 years for assault with intent to rape. But Matthias was out within 8 months. In his next run-in with law enforcement that December, police had evidence he visited the home of a couple he knew after shooting methamphetamine and dropping Beanies, or swallowing tablets of amphetamine. Yeah, that's benzodrine, according to case files. Wow. So he did meth back then, before it was sort of cool, right? This march right here, Scouting dude. Matthias was acting erratically, talking about how he wanted to stab a woman in the jaw. The couple told police. Matthias was acting erratically, talking about how he wanted to stab a woman in the jaw. The couple told police. After he told their 3-year-old daughter, "I thought I'd kill you once. I guess I'll have to do it again," the man and woman reportedly kicked Matthias out of their house and watched as he pounced on locked doors until police arrived. Pounded on locked doors. Court records do not indicate he served any jail time in connection with the incident. He had other run-ins with law, an arrest on suspicion of grand theft auto, a citation for disturbing the peace and driving without a license, where he allegedly told the arresting officer, "F you cops, you're all mother effers." A slew of bar fights, complaints he was prowling at a local cemetery. Matthias, known to his department as an investigator, Matthias was known to this department as an investigator with the Yuba County Sheriff's Office put it at the time of his disappearance. So Matthias was known to this department. And that was an awkwardly written sentence right there. Matthias was known to this department, as one investigator said. Daring escapes. Drugs had wrapped Matthias's brain, said Gary Whitley, who started dating Matthias's sister, Sharon, in 1967, later married her, and was going through divorce proceedings when the boys went missing. Whitley and Matthias spent summer afternoons near the end of high school drinking beer and swimming with their friends, he said. But when The two reconnected after their military service, Vietnam for Whitley, a base in Germany for Matthias. Matthias was largely in and out of his family home and not mentally stable, Whitley said. After being picked up by Stockton police in 1974, Matthias was admitted to a nearby state mental hospital. He spent 2 days there before crawling out through a drain pipe and walking and hitchhiking back to Marysville, still wearing his hospital pajamas, according to case files. It was a daring but familiar escape. Matthias had previously sneaked out of the Letterman Army Hospital psychiatric ward in San Francisco and later walked away from another mental facility, 1975, investigator notes said. In 1975, with a short stint at Yuba College proving unsuccessful, Matthias abruptly left school and moved to Oregon. Wow, he moved to Oregon! I was so close! To stay with his grandmother. His mother and stepfather, Ida and Robert Klopp, finally reached him on the phone weeks later and pleaded with him to come home, back to Yuba County. He hung up on them, they told sheriff investigators. The Klopps didn't hear from Matthias until he showed up on their doorstep 5 weeks later, ragged and filthy. He had walked from Portland, so he's actually from my city, Portland to Marysville, he told them, stealing milk off porches and eating dog food to stay alive on the 540-mile trek. Later that year, a Yuba County couple awoke to find Matthias standing in their bedroom, according to case files. He had punched through the window and unlocked their front door and was now looking for a ring to return to Satan, the couple told police. When the couple asked why he was there, he said they were in his house and he was there to collect rent. Matthias' path straightened out after that. He started to consistently take his schizophrenia medication and was able to hold down a job with his stepfather's gardening business. Robert Klopp told Washington Post in 1978. He had no notable contact with police during the 2 years leading up to the disappearance, and Klopp said he had not gone haywire in private during that time. He joined Gateway Projects and started hanging out with Sterling, Wheeler, Madruga, and Huett a few months before the boys went missing, according to case files. But even under the mellow haze of antipsychotic drugs such as Cogitin, Stelazine, and Prolixin, Gateway Gators basketball coach Robert Pennock told investigators he still felt like Matthias could possibly flip out at any time. Gateway has been closed for decades, and its leaders from the time are dead, leaving the question of how Matthias got involved in the first place unanswered. Jack Beecham, the former Yuba County sheriff, said he doesn't know how Matthias got into the program. Following a 1978 interview with Matthias' longtime acquaintance Janet Enzera, Yuba County Sergeant James Black wrote that Matthias had repeatedly told Enzera of a dream where he and several other people would disappear. Enzera called Matthias a very violent person, hurting several men seriously, and said that he also hates women, according to Black's interview notes. The other boy, still alive today, the other boy's parents weren't comfortable with Matthias either, even though they didn't seem to know about his criminal record, Jack Beecham said. He was a stronger personality, the only one among them who would fight back if threatened, according to investigators of the 5 missing boys, the case file said. He would be the most likely to lead and suggest places to go or things to do. That makes sense. So maybe it was his idea to go up there, and he's the one that told the friend about, I envisioned people going missing. And that's why he was in there just for a moment in that trailer, just for a little bit of time to get those other shoes on, and then he just left them there. And he wasn't on his drugs, because he lost those drugs, so now he's on full possibility of some kind of, whatever visions you get when you're schizophrenic. I don't know, but I know parents at the time told us they told me personally that they had deep concerns about Gary being involved in this. They were unabashed in their opinion in telling me that, Beecham said. The other four were always together. They walked a lot of places together, always together, and he just was a different personality type. It's a little bit like in the Dyatlov Pass, one of the individuals wasn't really like the rest of them. He didn't meld with the other four, according to the parents. Ida Klopp had taken her children and fled her husband, Garland Matthias, when Gary was 3 years old, making it from Yuba County to Bakersfield before calling Garland and asking him to pick them up, according to sheriff files. Klopp filed a restraining order against Garland when the two split for good some years later. Garland rarely came up in Whitley conversations with Sharon, his ex-wife and Gary's sister. One day in 1987, though Sharon's father showed up at her home out of the blue, Whitley said he ate dinner with Sharon and her two children, then about 10 and 11 years old, and left the house without incident. A few days later, Garland Matthias committed suicide. He unalived himself. Sharon Maxwell Matthias would die of a gunshot wound to the head in 2002. According to Placer County Sheriff's Office, the shot Whitley said was self-inflicted. Yuba County Superior Court and Sheriff's Office officials could not find evidence of the restraining order or Garland Matthias' cause of death. I do believe that the mental illness that Gary and my ex-wife had, they inherited from their dad, Whitley said. As long as Gary was on medication, he wasn't too bad. But when he thought he was okay and not doing his medication, same thing with my ex-wife, Sharon. As long as she was on medication, she was doing okay. Maybe Gary Matthias was a victim of inexplicable circumstances deep in the woods, just like the four other boys. Maybe he chose not to take medication that carried side effects of drowsiness, lethargy, and dizziness in light of his Special Olympics basketball game the next day, right, see? And inadvertently brought his friends out to their deaths on a schizophrenia-induced adventure. There you go. Maybe he's alive today. He was a fighter, that much is clear, and they never found his body either, who was willing to do whatever it took to survive, walking dozens of miles out of the snow in lightweight clothing would have been excruciating, but how come they never talked to a soul that saw him again? But so likely was walking from Portland to Marysville and shimmying his way out of mental health institution. About 3 weeks after the boy went missing, a Yuba City woman named Debbie Lynn Reese picked up the telephone, investigators said. Oh, okay, this could be interesting. About 3 weeks after the boys went missing, a Yuba City woman named Debbie Lynn Reese picked up the telephone, investigators said, and she said, "Hello," she said. "I know where the missing 5 men are," a man on the other end of the line said before hanging up. The man called back the next day, Reese told authorities, and said, "I need help, 'cause I really hurt those guys bad." When she asked, "Who did you hurt?" he replied, "Don't play dumb with me," and hung up. Oh boy. There was one more call the next day on March 17th. "Those 5 guys are all dead," the man said. "They're all dead." Reese asked, "They're all dead?" He repeated, then he hung up, and Reese never heard from him again. Beecham doesn't think that was Matthias, though. Matthias couldn't get his medication if he went off the grid, and he couldn't stay out of trouble without his medication. Then there were the family ties. Even on the long walkabouts, he always came back to his mother and stepfather's house. My thinking is as he was in, he just went down in those conditions out there, Beecham said. That manzanita is bad stuff. I mean, it was so thick, like 8 to 10 feet high. I just think he went down and disappeared. No one pulled a trigger on the boys, but something or someone killed them. Asked if he thought Matthias said his brother. Well, the guy in the trailer, though, he was alive for a long time, so. Asked if he thought Matthias said his brother and the other up to die, Dallas Weiher replied, that's the only thing that makes sense. Weiher recalled that the hit 90s television series Unsolved Mysteries sought the involved family's permission to do an episode on the missing five sometime after their disappearance. Every family agreed, except Matthias. Despite him still being missing, Weiher said, and then Matthias' surviving siblings declined to comment or could not be reached by the bee. That's just suspicious. I'm not saying they knew, but well, you can probably guess what I think, Weiher said. Wow, wouldn't that be crazy if he came back to them and said, hey man, something went on, and they've hid him all those years, right? Many questions still remain in Beecham's mind about what happened the night of February 24th, 1978, and the weeks that followed, but he's convinced that whatever took the boys up into the woods, it wasn't their own doing. They were either forced or manipulated, Beecham said. And where does Matthias come into that? Maybe he had nothing to do with it. We'll never know. But I think he did. You know, reading that whole thing there, you guys, I mean, it does make you think that, especially with the one girl saying that he had visions of that. And he's the leader, right? He's the leader of all of them. And without his medication, you know, who knows what he did. I think that is very, wow, that's, you know, I was totally into the, you know, it's all just an accident and they all got lost. But yeah, why would you go uphill and all that stuff? Yeah, well, there's nothing he could have, you know, when you say he did it, you know, it's like, you know, because one of the people lived for 6 weeks inside the, so he might have got him stuck up there, but he took off and got out of there, perhaps, right? But I think he's the one, I think it's really possible that he's the one that got him to go up there and put him in that situation. And he might have even like, hey, yeah, go up there. I think that if you go up a little higher, there's this place up there. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I think he did it. All right. Yeah, Donner is another one that's sort of like that. Yeah, it does absolutely seem like he did that. But how did he get out of there? I mean, I know he walked 500 miles one time. But that was like in normal weather with, you know, eating and stuff, you know, dog food, whatever the hell it was. This is different. We're talking, you know, I don't know how in the hell they all walked 19 miles in, you know, that kind of snow. That doesn't even make any sense to me. If it's 4 feet deep, how are you walking around without snowshoes on? You're just taking these long steps, like trying to get through the snow with these long clomping steps, and you go 15 miles? No way, man. I don't buy that at all. The amount of time it would take to walk 15 miles. I mean, apparently they made it 15 miles from their car, What if the car was there, though, and it was placed there by Matthias after ditching them up there, and he drove down there, and then he made it look like that's where it broke down? How about that? What if Matthias was up a little higher with them, and then he made it back to the vehicle on his own and then drove it down there? Because it doesn't make any sense that people can walk 15 miles in snow like that. Yeah, well, there was a whole bunch of maybe he could have done this, maybe he could have done that. Yeah. I don't know. But anyways, I'm glad we got through that last article, because that was really, that was the one. That article was written by, who did this one? Just a second. Benji Eagle. Yeah, and also when you get frozen, you start doing a lot of weird things sometimes. Like you can, what do they call that? The paradoxical undressing, where you take off your clothes when you're getting cold because you have a rush of heat. Now the article is from 2019. Why? I already said that earlier, but yeah. I don't know if they remove their clothing or not, but I'm just saying, your mind does strange things. I think hyperthermia was when you heat up, like hot car deaths. Hey, thank you, Tosh. Yeah, maybe we should try. I could do something more like on Sundays, like a mystery Sunday. Whether or not it's a crime or not. We do all these cold cases that are crimes, but there's a whole bunch of weird things out there. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that every time, but it'd be cool to do more of those.
Thanks.
You could even do ones on like, the Roswell incident or something, See what people think. Chloe. Yep, talking to you. Yeah, maybe we'll try to do some of that. Wow, that one's pretty interesting. I'm glad we looked into that. I've never, I do think there's something to do with Matthias. I mean, don't you think it's odd? This part's odd. That Matthias, the one sort of the leader, the one that with all the really crazy problems, the schizophrenic, and he's the one that hasn't been found also, and could very well be the one that led them up there and maybe wanted to do something like that. I don't know. Those kinds of things are, you kind of go, what are the odds of that, The one outcast of the four that doesn't fit in, he's the one that nobody has seen or found ever again. So, there's 20% chance, I guess. But really, I mean, wouldn't you have just sort of found him like you found everybody else? I mean, I guess if he went up higher, like Amber was saying, he kept moving along. But, I mean, people have been up there for months after that. It's summertime then. People are hiking and moving around. Seems like they would have seen somebody. Yeah, I think though, it might be that they drove up higher. So let's say like the car was found here. So what if the car drove all the way up to around in this area, and then they went downhill like this and sort of ended up in that one park is right there. They walked downhill, and that car is still parked here. And then when you get down here, they were in there for a while and they ate all those meals and everything, right? Then maybe they were said, okay, you need to go out and it's this way. And he pointed uphill and it seemed similar. So one of them goes up this way and they get stuck. And then maybe the other two went down they went this direction. And, you know, I guess they think these two never made it up there. But I think 3 made it to at least made it to the trailer. 3 different people. And, you know, you could say, go uphill, you get back to the car, you know. But you're not going to remember exactly how to get there in that kind of weather and late at night. And it's pitch black. So you're going to go, you know, you might go any direction here. But maybe he knew exactly how to get out of there because he's been in the military and he knows how to do stuff like that. So he comes out and he gets back to the vehicle that maybe was parked here. Then he drives it down all the way to here. And then he walks his way out somehow and finds a way to never be seen again. I mean, that seems difficult, though, doesn't it? The part that seems difficult is how come nobody's ever seen this guy ever again? Yeah, so it makes it seem like it's likely that he's out in the, you know, he got lost somewhere and they just never found him. You know, hell, if he walked down this way, you know, he's toast. No, they didn't, Lee. Leanne's genius comment was, did they not possibly eat him? And no, the answer is no. They had plenty of food up there and nobody ate it. They just, Weiher allowed himself to starve to death while sitting in front of a bunch of K rations. I mean, it's almost as if you just showed up at the end and weren't paying attention to the rest of the show. Leanne Dewhurst. Yeah, well, you know, a little barbecue sauce never hurts anything. You know, what is it called? The sriracha sauce? That's good on anything. Yeah, so I'll tell it. Well, 3 hours and 15 minutes again. All right, so thank you to, let's see, Sarita, Lynette Burns, Jessica Schubach, Quietly Frozen, the coolest name in YouTube history, Irene Cipher, K-Me, Kimberly Faith, Kimberly Barr, Eugenie, Kathy Friedenmaker. Am I on the right one? Oh, that's from yesterday. Sorry about that. Hold on, let me go back over here. Kubi was first today. So Kubi, Teresa Murray, and then Tosh with the cat eye donation. Caligal 3, Natalie Bell, Treva McCoy, Tina Susser, LM, Debbie Barnes, Allie Cake, Simple Life Days, Marie Crossley, Kit Kat, Tosh, Eugenie, Tina Susser, Candalee Woodward Stone, Lane Dune, Adniram, LM, Caligal 3, Tosh, Plato, Tina Susser, Lisa Valenzuela, Tina Susser, Scout and Do with the cat eye, thank you. Linda Howell, K-Me, Kimberly Faith, Lori Will, Bronwyn Thompson, Kelly Snyder with the cat eye, Kimberly Ann, Simple Life Days, Kathy Chapin, Scoutin' Dude, Cat Eye, Don G, Kelly Snyder, Tosh, and hold on. Somebody, Kimberly sent in a PayPal. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer Epic. So do you go back and listen to it? 8675309. What do you think? What do you think? You can play it on 1.75 speed, apparently. Pretty crazy story, isn't it? Two times. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for being here and listening to me, my rant and my thoughts. I mean, it does get, sometimes it just feels so, depressing doing this, and not the people, but the numbers and what you got to do to be one of the ones that gets all the subs. And it's hard to be that. I can't be that person, because even when I'm, when I got a case like the Murdoch, of course, yeah, we can cover the whole trial. That was good fun for me to do anyway. Yeah, but you get to Idaho 4 and you're covering it, and you're still got things that are new and you're doing. And then you have to make a decision, because there's a certain point where you're like, okay, there's nothing more to cover here. And then you start slipping in other stories, and you hope that the same people that were subscribed to watch the the Idaho 4 stuff would be interested in that, all kinds of cases too. And I don't know, do you guys, I kind of like the way we do it here too. Going through, it gives so much more texture, I feel, going through all the articles through the years on various cases, and some have more than others, but you get a way better feel for the whole thing doing it that way. It seems like you get some more of the victimology stuff, talking about people and yeah. That's true. I mean, I do have the awesome freaks here, and I appreciate all the freaks that are always here supporting the channel and waiting to tune in. When I'm coming on every night, you're there, and boom, you're watching, and it's good stuff. Yeah, looking at that scale really doesn't work. Well, good, Cindy. Because it was laundry day? I don't know what that even means. Maybe 5 men vanished because it was laundry day. Huh? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. I'm going to have to put this one on timeout. In fact, hold on a second. That can't be a legitimate account with such dumb comments. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, must be it. It was laundry day, so they all left. They didn't want to do laundry. No, you don't, Susan. You don't get it. Men don't like to do laundry, so they make themselves... Yeah, right. But we already know that they were found dead, so it's that the humor is gone if you've been following the case. How does that make it funny if you say, oh, they went missing because it's laundry day? Well, if they're all still missing, it would be mildly funny. But 4 were found dead on the mountain, so it wasn't laundry day, okay? So the joke had no meaning at all to me. Even though you get what it means. Oh yeah, nobody wants to do laundry, so... Yeah. Will do, Jim. I mean, try to be more clever with the jokes, you know, like have it sort of be relevant, you know. That one lost it all when, well, we know they weren't doing laundry because one was found starved to death inside of a trailer with food next to him. So he allowed himself to starve to death because he didn't want to get back and do some laundry. Yeah, that makes, boy, that's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a joke. It's not really that funny, though. Anyways. Hey, David Hughes, my half-brother. Way to go, man. You wouldn't happen to be the actual David Hughes who is my half-brother, would you? I do have a half-brother named David Hughes. And another brother named Joe Hughes, I think. Half-brother that were from my biological father's... he had like a previous marriage or something. And then me and, Garrett Gray and Grant were born. No, you're Lance Gray. I read it on a post. No, I'm not mean, Rebecca. Is that part of the marketing? No, I just goof around because I do have a half brother named David Hughes. So I just make a joke about it. Hey, it's D Sims. What's going on? Why do you want to know, Jim? Like, what difference? What does my age have to do with anything? I'm in my 50s. Let's put it that way. Yeah. But notice how Dave Hughes never replied after I asked him if he was really my half-brother. Maybe it is. God, you just never know. Yeah, I'm 27, Jim. Just another Dave. But Hughes isn't really that common. So I figured, well, Dave is, though, right? So of all the Hugheses, there's probably I've actually seen other gray Hugheses. I mean, that's shocking to me. And I always feel like I should be their buddy. You see him on Facebook and you go, hey, I'm another Gray Hughes too, man. What's going on? Hey, tell me about your... who cares? I mean, there's even one that does video work. It was weird. Wow. Just wow. Hey, now you just give everybody your last name, Cindy. Well, tomorrow I have to go to a orthodontist sort of implant person because I've got this tooth over here that's sore sometimes, and they're gonna look at it, kind of clean it, go way in there, and if it has a crack in it, they're gonna have to pull it out, and then my mouth has to heal. Then they're gonna put in whatever that is, like the implant base, and then later put a tooth in. But but if it doesn't have a crack in it, apparently he can use this laser and get it all good. It's going to be like a 2-hour thing. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't hurt or anything, my tooth, so we'll see how it goes. My teeth are really good now, though. There was a time where they weren't that great, but right now, I mean, I do, for the last 10 or 15 years, I floss, water pick, and brush every single day. And every time I go in now, they go, wow, man, we hardly have to do anything. Or, everything looks great, the gums and everything. But apparently I grind my teeth or something sometimes. I've always been interested in true crime, but I think it was like 2012 or 13 is when I started getting into being able to show people what I think happened. Oh, that's right. Remember, she was me. Kubi was me on Halloween one time. I think they live. I'm not sure where they live. California, maybe. I think the two half brothers are Jehovah's Witnesses, so I don't really know much about them. I know that they man a watchtower somewhere. A tower that I will never be going to. Well, I just have to get one tooth. If I do, but they just have to check. And if it doesn't have a crack, then they can just use a laser and then it just heals up on its own or something. Yeah. Yep, hopefully no crack. That's going to be at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Apparently, then I'll probably be home at like 3:30. See how that goes. Was that even during the pandemic? The Halloween where we did? Seems like that was in 2019 or something. I mean, that was before. That was like, I think that was the first time we did a Halloween. Blue, what's going on, buddy? Today I was so cool with Blue. He was looking so down. He was sitting and I go, come here, Blue. And he came running over and he jumped up and he just snuggled up and I just kept like rubbing his shoulders and he just felt so good. You could see it. He was so happy for a minute. Are you sure? That first one was during the pandemic? I don't remember that. God. You know what's weird? The pandemic went by really fast. But when you think about stuff, it's a long time ago. Right at the beginning of 2020, or right at the end of 2019, I think it was a couple of cases in March. Or not March, December of 2019. And then it really started kicking in 2020. It's such a weird thing. I remember playing golf with my friend one time, and we were saying, man, this thing's spreading around, and we were like, there's an actual pandemic coming. And then then it came and killed 1 million Americans. You know what I think we should do is, I think it was created in a lab, and that's sort of the generally accepted theory now, even on both political parties, and the FBI thinks was created in a lab and it escaped. So why don't we just, for the deaths of 1 million Americans, why don't we just say we are wiping out the debt that we owe you, China? We've borrowed $6 trillion or whatever the hell it is, and we're just now going to wipe it off for the deaths of all those people for your irresponsibility. Not to say that they're worth money, but isn't that something, why not just do that? I would do it. I mean, I don't know if it's legal or however you do it. You just say, listen, we're going to bill you. We've decided. $1 billion for every, actually maybe not a billion, whatever it is, 500 million for every death in the United States. Yeah, it does feel like it's been, well, for me it feels like the pandemic was like a year and a half ago is when it started. But when you think back at dates and things that we've done, I mean, 2020, all 3 of those years that we donated money are, 2020, 2021, 2022, now we're in 2023, so it's at least 3.5 years ago. It's crazy. Well, I'm not saying you're not trading human life for money. You're saying that they're irresponsible, releasing their negligence caused the death of 1 million Americans, and we're just going to wipe out our debt for your payment, your what do you call it, the settlement. I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, it's like the no, it's not like reparations. They killed 1 million with the pandemic. They killed 1 million Americans, and I think we should just be able to wipe out our debt that we owe them by negligence. I don't know. I'm sure it's not something you can actually do. It's just something I've thought about, like, wow, irresponsible, you guys, your negligence and irresponsibility of leaking out a virus that you engineered yourself to make stronger, to come up with vaccines for. You let it out into the wild, and it killed millions and millions of people. What is their punishment for it? What is China's punishment for doing that? Anybody have an answer? It's almost nothing. I mean, they've actually done better and better and better, and it's just sick. Now, the whole wet market thing is garbage, and it's been garbage, and lots of people have been saying it's been garbage, and now it's reality. Okay? The only one that doesn't think that is Fauci, because apparently some of the money, or what was it, some grants and so forth were going to that lab for the gain-of-function research. Yeah, he's the only one that's still clinging on to the hope that it wasn't a lab leak. I mean, even the FBI just came forward and said, yeah, we think it was leaked from the lab in Wuhan, which is actually exactly what that was for. Right next to the wet market in Wuhan is a lab for what it's actually for the coronavirus. Yeah. 31 days in the hospital with COVID, 17 days on a... Wow, you got really lucky, CJK. He probably wasn't vaccinated though, right? Yeah, it's really bad for some people, like the long haul COVID. I think a lot of you guys got COVID. I never got that. I mean, the thing was with the vaccines, all they would do is, remember how at first they were saying, oh yeah, you get the vaccine, you're 90%. That was all garbage. What the vaccines are good for, though, is giving you a similar protection that you would get if you had it naturally. So my thing is when people got COVID naturally, they should also get a card that says you've had COVID and you recovered, and it's just like getting a shot. It should have been equivalent to getting a shot.
Get the email?
Hey, Gray.
Hey, Gray.
Open your email. It should have been equivalent to getting a shot. Don't you guys agree with that? Oh, did you? I never got. Which one did you get? The Moderna one was really made people sick a lot. The Pfizer one didn't. I didn't have any side effects from Pfizer. But I think if people had got COVID and recovered, that should be equivalent to getting a shot. If you got a shot, you're just somewhat protected in terms of like your body can fight it better. That's all it was doing. It didn't keep anybody from catching it. Now there's some people that just never caught it because they're like naturally immune somehow. But I never caught it because I'm a hermit, and I mean, I don't know. I don't really go out too much, but I mean, I can still catch it. But I've also got all the vaccines. I know people think that's stupid and shit, but I don't. I actually tried to get as many people as possible to get the damn vaccine at the beginning. And look at right now the the percentage of people dying is so much less than it was. I think that new medicine, that their pill that they gave, is helping a lot. Remember, it was like over 1% if you caught it. I mean, what terrible odds. Would any of you just think, hey, for $1,000, if I had a gun and it had 100 chambers in it, and I could spin it around, would you pull the trigger if it was even 1 out of 100? Hell no. Now, if it was for $1 million, no, I wouldn't even do it for $1 million. Yeah, if somebody goes, I'll give you $1 million, and you can spin. You have 1 in 100 chance of winning, but the one that you don't win, you're dead. Would you really do that? Hell no, man. Yeah, but it was more than that. It was like 1.5 to 3%, I think, for a while. And it killed a lot of elderly people and African Americans. So I don't really know what I think African Americans, because of the food desert issue, have a lot of the existing conditions that made them more susceptible to dying. There wasn't something extra in the in the virus that made black people more vulnerable. It was that a lot of African Americans live in cities, and there aren't really the food sources aren't that great, and there's a lot of diabetes and obesity and things like that. The pre-existing conditions that cause a lot of the problems, which sucks, I always felt bad for all those nurses having to deal with all that too. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Heart problems and mice ended up having that taste and smell distortion afterwards for like 8 months. Oh, really? That's a long time. Well, I think it's not less deadly now. It's just that it's less deadly because so many people are vaccinated, plus they have medications now that can kind of stop it before it gets really bad. Yeah. Yeah, it has nothing to do with it. It's like it didn't get less deadly per unvaxxed person with conditions. What I always thought was weird is why people get so offended. I remember if you mention, hey everybody, make sure to go get vaccinated, people would get so upset at you. It's like, what for? If you don't want one, then don't get one if you don't want to. But when that shit first started, man, it was some scary stuff. And you guys remember Chasing Truth, and her husband got it, and her husband was right at that point where he was like a 50-50 person, where he had to. The next day had to go on a ventilator if he didn't recover, and he just slowly got improvement after that. And man, that should have been a wake-up call to people, because both of them, at that. Well, I don't think they've ever been vaccinated, but I mean, once you get it, you've probably got a higher immune than somebody that just got a shot. You know, I just don't understand the offense people get. Well, it might be something where we have to get a shot every year, like the flu shot. Who knows? But yeah, if you don't want to, you don't want to. You just don't do it then. I think they need to get rid of the crap about not allowing people to do certain things if they don't have a card that has vaccines on it. I think we're past that now. We're at a point where, you know, people are walking around with no masks everywhere. Forget it. It's done. I mean, not saying it's completely over, but nobody's wearing masks at all anymore. I mean, I mean, everywhere I go, there's maybe a few stragglers, but nobody. Anyway, sorry for that conversation at the end there. Hope it doesn't offend people again. I know that I kind of just quit wearing mine about 2 weeks ago, actually. I was just looking around, just going, yeah, I'm about done. Everybody else is done. We don't have a very high rate here. I mean, California has tons and tons of people over there. You're into it. Yeah, she's going to still be wearing hers when there's zero virus. 867-5309, because she'll say to people, well, we never know. There could be another pandemic around the corner. Let me get this. They wear them in Asia, Japan, and they were wearing them all the time anyways over there in Japan. And I think even Korea sometimes, I guess. We had extreme lockdown in my area. Yeah, me too. You have to wear your mask when you go to the dentist's office or the hospital or doctor's office. So I'll still wear that. But yeah, that's the part that's weird when you go in and somebody tells you something funny and you laugh, and then you have to tell them, hey, I'm actually laughing. I'm telling you because you can't see my face. I don't know if I'd be able to make it all the way to the UK. It's kind of far away. I have a hard time peeing on an airplane. I think it's because I'm so freaked out being up in the air. Have you ever looked out the window and said, how in the hell are we up here? How in the hell is this thing in the air right now? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for being here, and thank you to who was that? I can't remember who suggested. I don't know. Can't remember who suggested it, but thank you for whoever suggested doing this one. I thought it was really interesting. With the mask, I don't have to wear my fake mustache and nose glasses. I need to get that the clown horn, whatever that is. Yes, everybody! Wait, hold on. Let me read her last one. With a mask, I don't have to wear my fake mustache and nose glasses. I love looking out the window while flying. I don't think we have worn masks here for probably 8 months. I love that music, man. Isn't that the greatest stuff in the world? All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for all being here. Thanks for helping support the channel tonight and listening to my rant, as it were. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. And thanks for being here. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6. Yeah, I've been doing
and a 7 and an 8 and a 9 and a 10 and a 11 and a 12 and a 13 and a 14 and a 15 and a 16 and a 17 and a 18 and a 19 and a 20.
That is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya.
I stretch ya if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar.
Professor Grey is gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector.
And I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool reflector.
Interceptor.
And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
On this spectre with a respector.
Just remember,
I have a temple fucking check ya.
I have no agenda.
I'm no agenda.
And I'll serve it to you straight without a blender.
And in the end,
I'm gonna send you on a mission to the reveal true offender. Hey, that was really cool, Timmy and John Boy.
Back to work. All right.
thanks, Mary Lou.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, good job, man.
Wow, that was amazing. Mary Lou let the others sing along too. I'm sure a lot of you missed John Boy and Timmy, but there they are. There they are. But anyways, thanks again, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, and be safe out there.
Good night, everybody.
Come on, get it out.
Get out what?
You know you always say G at the end, right?
I do not, Gray.
Oh, come on. Put a 1 if she's ever not said G after she says good night, everybody. I mean, come on. You've never done that before.
Gosh, Gray, I was just trying something different.
Oh, so you're admitting it now. You said you're trying something different. That means you're admitting that before you would say G. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I never said it before. Okay, I did it before. Good night, everybody. Gee.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Wow. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Be safe out there.